Welcome everybody to the seventh and final round of the Simrigs Sprint Series for Asia Pacific, Split Sean and Split Red. My name is Sean Brimblecombe, and joining me tonight is honorary Sean, Sean Cook.
Pleasure to be here joining the ranks of the Shawns. Sean, thank you very much. It's going to be a good one tonight, I think.
Oh well, Sean, you couldn't ask for a better track to be here, to be at. Sadly, not Simmons Plains. I mean, if you take out the L and the N of Australia, what do you get? That's right, you get Austria, and that's where we are tonight at the Red Bull Ring. One of my personal favourite tracks, so really happy that it's been added to the game. And we're gonna jump into qualifying for Split Sean. I mean Blue, and yeah, see what we can see tonight. It's going to be an exciting one. There's a few big gaps in the championship points, but I'm sure some things can happen. We'll see.
We will see indeed, Sean, yeah. It is Mia Rose at the moment, leading us away in the pro category, so she's done pretty well this season. Lots of consistent results, and has got a fairly big points advantage now over Joshua Vediger. The leading silver category, it is Joshua Holmes. And then in Pro-Am, it is Steve Lewis, with the Am category currently being led by Brent Sykes. So I believe we have all of them out on track today. So there will be some donuts at the end of this race to finish off this season. But yes, what a good troll that was. Simmons Plains, love to see it. I was getting a little bit suspect when I saw a little bit of Bathurst footage in the background, but I fell into the trap like most did, I think.
I was a little bit worried that it was going to be another run of Bathurst, because not had much luck at Bathurst the last couple of races, and that probably would have put the final nail in my bit of a shocker to the second half of the season. But no, luckily common sense prevailed, and Ripple Ring had the second most votes, so that got chosen instead, which is good. Not to say that Simmons Plains wouldn't be fun in GT3 cars. I mean, I don't know how fast the laps would be, because it's a pretty tiny little track, and getting through that hairpin would be some good fun. But I must say, Ripple Ring slightly more suitable for GT3 cars.
Yeah, it is, and the lap times here they're not particularly long either. We've seen in practice people dropping under the 130s, and that's to be expected. Obviously 10 corners here, so it's not as many as everyone would think. And we've got 6 to the right, and then 4 to the left. Here's me struggling with maths already, like 3 minutes into the broadcast, so that's always good. But yeah, there's some interesting corners out there. There's lots of straights. That first corner, a little bit uphill. You've got that nasty sausage curve on the outside, always a bit of a trouble zone. Flying cars putting the power down a little bit too much there, and you are going to spin the car out. Might be a place you want to throw on just a bit of traction control, but not really, because you've got a nice big straight that leads you up towards Remus, second hairpin, and yeah, it gets very, very tricky. So we're on board at the moment with Joshua Holmes, so we'll go for a little bit of a lap here. There we go, first through the first corner already, and down this beautiful, beautiful straight. Lots of opportunity for slipstream here, Sean, and that's one of the bits of magic around this track.
Definitely, and then into the uphill braking zone, you can leave it really late and still get it pulled up for the corner. Lots of good opportunities for a move if you can get alongside. And then again, another decent sized straight, but this braking zone downhill, so it's the opposite. You get all this confidence on your brakes from the previous corner, and you're like, oh yeah, I can brake before after the 100-meter board, and then you go flying off into the kitty litter, Albon style, and then that's all over. It's you've lost your position, or your fastest lap, or whatever it is, depending on quali or race. But yeah, it's a fantastic sort of, just a whole lap is quite fun, except for probably the first and last corners, where you can easily invalidate your lap by just getting a bit too much of that inside sausage curve. At least that's the problem I was having.
Well, it's very true, and it doesn't take much, but the track limits here, I'd say, are reasonably lenient for the most part. It's you have to be going very, very wide for yourself to pick up a track limit. So I wouldn't expect that we see much in the way of DTs today, drive-throughs, but Yeah, then we've got that lovely S section as well. We do see the car running wide already. Some lap times coming in as well, and they're already hitting into the 27s, which is fantastic to see. Grant Begg with a brilliant lap time, 27.730 on the board. Joshua Vediger and Josh Holmes, 7 tenths and 8 tenths behind your top three at the moment. Roush, Worth, and then in towards Rindt. Beautiful set of corners, in my opinion. That sweeping left-hander. You know, you're sort of off the throttle, you're off the brake, and you're really letting the car's mechanics rotate you through. We're going through there right now. Got to run out a little bit wide on the right hand to try and open up the curve of Worth, and that leads you into this beautiful S's section, which thank you very much, cameramen, for getting us this nice wide shot. Run that right, and you get a good exit out towards Rindt. It's not a long straight, but if you keep that momentum, you can't be overtaken, and then hopefully you nail the exit on the Red Bull Mobile curve, the last corner, coming up through here now. Watch that inside curb, can send the car flying, join whatever manufacturer's space program that you're involved in, and then down the straight, and hopefully you don't have a car immediately behind you.
Yeah, this is probably one of the more difficult corners of the track. It's so easy to lose the rear as Grant's just wiggling away at the back end. You want to get that power down ASAP to get a good run onto the back straight, onto the straight, because then you've got this big braking zone, braking hard at the 100-meter board, get into first gear, and then just again trying to struggle to put that power down, and then another good long straight. I don't think he gets quite into sixth gear in the BMW, at least here. Downhill braking, and then, yeah, that's a lap. It's a quick circuit, but it's so much fun. I just really enjoyed lapping it. Like, the race was just so relaxing, because it's just such a nice track to drive. There's not really any sort of weird corners, you know. They all make reasonable sense in the terms of how you drive a GT3 car. There's no odd apexes or anything like that. It's all pretty simple stuff. Ooh, as we move on to Michael Babb and his bin chicken racing, trypophobia?
Trypophobia, I think.
Trypophobia.
I think I knew about it because everyone was getting, this phrase was becoming a thing when the iPhone 155 was released, or whatever it is, and everyone was freaking out about the holes. So if you've got trypophobia, please look away. Our broadcaster not giving us a chance to do a trypophobia warning out there for those that do suffer. So, so the 666 car here, it's got the devil's number and it's got holes all around it. So we hope to not see that car too much throughout the evening, I think, Sean.
That is some truly cursed content right there. As we're noticing a bit of traffic going on there. As we go with Layla Bell, she's must be on an out lap, getting ready for the last flying cent, and we come to Joshua Holmes with just losing out on the exit of the first corner there. As we head down the that was the sorry, that's turn 3. My apologies.
That's turn 3. Yeah, I was
going to say 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they do feel rather similar on the exits. That's that exterior or outside sausage curve, and you know, you run over that and the car looks like it's doing the same thing. And then, of course, the camera angle dropping down towards Remus, you go down, then you go back up again. So from certain camera angles, it's pretty much identical. We've had a few more lap times posted out there. Mia Rose has gone and done a 28.1, goes up to P2, still behind Grant Begg at 27.7. Absolutely amazing. So he's continuing to hold it.
That is a rocking time. Like, the Beamer is quite strong here. But yeah, that is a good time. I wasn't able to do anything near that in my qualifying last night, and I was feeling pretty good about the car. So obviously, Grant's managed to find the magic sauce to make the Beamer go around here. And that Beamer, it's going to be a hard car to pass if he manages to keep it on pole this evening, because it's got a lot of go for the straights, and they're just not long enough for you to really take a huge advantage of the slipstream. Get some, but unless you've already got a run, there's not a lot of chance to kind of get alongside and force the issue.
No, your only chance to get to the BMW is going to be in Sector 2, and maybe out of Sector 2 into Sector 3, which is where all the corners happen. The BMW will suffer from its usual things. It'll understeer, it won't make apexes, so if you can use some clever tactics to catch up. That said, at a circuit like this, in terms of setup, I would imagine, and again, unfortunately, I haven't done a proper race here just yet myself, but I imagine running a lower wing setup is probably the way to go with all the straights.
I think it's, well, for me personally, I was running maximum wing in a bit of rake, so it was more high downforce than you think, because the straights are pretty long, but you're not usually topping out the car. Like for example, the Porsche is quite strong here because it gets up to, you know, like the top of 5th gear, but it's not running out of puff like it usually does at circuits like Paul Ricard, where it just runs out of engine RPM.
Yeah, in which case you want to be running that high wing so you can maximize the corners. So yeah, literally the opposite of what I was thinking. Now that it's explained to me, does make a lot of sense. So
I mean, you can run a low wing though. That you will get a good benefit from it, definitely, because it's not a. There's a lot of straights. There's a lot of full throttle time on this map. As we take it, we're having a bit of a fight between the cursed liveries here.
I was going to say, this is sort of like you know, we had tripophobia there, the fear of holes or whatever it is that it explained to us, and now we've got trip outophobia. So if you don't like tripping out, you don't want to look at this library.
I'm trying to think of what sort of optical illusion it's meant to be, or if it is supposed to be an optical illusion. But
like a kaleidoscope, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of. There's definitely some of those patterns that can make you have the weird waving lines and things like that. As we look back at the leaderboard, the rest of the field has started to catch up to Grant Begg, with Ashley Johnson and Mia Rose separated by 5 thousandths of a second, and behind Grant Begg by 500ths of a second. So it's very tight within the top 3, less than a 10th.
It is. We've got Ashton Reynolds who's put on some great performances this season. He's sitting in 4th place at the moment with Joshua Vediger in behind him by a very similar margin, 200ths of a second. So yeah, the top 8 or 9 here only separated by less than a second. So it's incredibly close out there at the moment. Ashley Reynolds though, Ashley Johnson, sorry. That's a fantastic lap by him. He's actually finding time out on track, and if he maintains his current pace, that will be an improvement not only to P1, even as Begg does improve his own time, goes with a 27.6 into the last corner. We've got 3/10 on the board now. Ashley Johnston nearly creeps up to 4/10 of a second. He'll come across the line. That'll be a comfortable P1 for Ashley Johnston in the McLaren. What a lap at the end of this qualifying. Question is anyone gaining time out there to beat him? But what a lap, 27.4.
That is really quick. We're getting into some properly quick stuff, as I'm sure Mia Rose will try and have something to say about it, and that is Mia Rose's qualifying done, and a slam into the wall, understandably.
Well, she had no real say in that. The curb had all the say in that one, and it said, you're going sideways, you're going to barrier, you're going to have a visit, enjoy. And unfortunately, that is not a pleasant thing to happen on the last lap of qualifying.
Definitely not. That is not ideal for trying to get pole, and that will be the end of her qualifying, sadly. Not enough time to get another lap down, so time to just get in the pits, sort out that pit strategy, and kind of relax and try to not think about it too much as we go on board with Joshua Vediger, who's just bleeding time coming out of turn 5, going into the lovely left-handers, and there's a bit of drift. That tail was not happy. He's wagging his tail about, doing Porsche things, and he's keeping it under control, and he's gaining. So managing to get a bit of an improvement here. He's got to find about 4/10 to move up a position, but this will at least increase the gap between him and Reynolds, who I think is directly behind. Maybe yes.
Found some good time on the exit of Red Bull Mobile Curve, though. It's an invalid lap for Ashton Reynolds, even though that was technically faster, obviously probably faster because of a track cut. So Vediger does improve his time, but can't get up into the P3. Reynolds doing some impressive drifting at the end there to signify his qualifying is absolutely done. Pethy Bridge still out on track. Very close to finding time. The last couple of corners. So what can Pethy Bridge do in Rind? Let's see. In we go. Porsche doing Porsche things. Has found a bit of time. Runs wide and validates immediately. Yeah, so that entry was a little bit all over the place, unfortunately, and the car just said no. The tyres did not like it. 29 degrees Celsius out there, Sean. So once the cars get into a state that where they don't have that optimum grip, then you're going to be just suffering all the way through the session. But there we go. Ashley Johnson, what a lap there. Silver class driver takes out pole position, I believe, possibly for the first time this season. But what a lap from Ashley. Absolutely top stuff.
That was mega, yeah, and the Mosaic Motorsport car. Love those new liveries, and the Pit Viper BMW on P2. So it's a colourful start to the grid. And then we have Mia Rose P3, and followed by Joshua Vediger in the fantastic Coke Zero Porsche, and then Ashlyn Reynolds in the GTR, followed by Matt Niferis also in the GTR. So an all GTR third row. Then Layla Bell and Joshua Holmes. And then I don't know whose car is next.
So that's Josh's Ferrari there, I believe.
That's Josh's Ferrari there.
And now it's I don't know this chap either. I think it's called Pat.
Oliver.
I think he's called Pat.
Oliver.
I don't think I've heard of him before.
He's changed cars and classes, I think, as well. And then is that Spidey or
that's Scott Blair, I believe.
Scott Blair.
64, yeah. And Tom McDonald, yes, I recognise that livery. It's one that I've seen both the front of it in the rearview mirror and the back of it in my rearview mirror. Then it's Ahmad Siukri and then Brent Sykes. So Brent Sykes, he's our AM class leader at the moment, so he's in a good position, P13. Excellent. And then Mountain Dew. Oh, look at this. Mountain Dew and Shell. Oh, great combination right there.
Probably not together, but
maybe not.
Maybe don't drink together.
It's not the most healthy thing to do. Chad Prethybridge, of course, then Steve Lewis. We've got Ashley Vediger on the side there. He's in the Coca-Cola with sugar livery. Garth Horsberg there on the right-hand side. Your yellow car, of course, is Lee Perkins. Thomas Frustuck there in the Lamborghini. We saw him early on having a bit of a spin. Neil Wood in the fluorescent Ferrari. We don't talk about this car on the right-hand side, so we just ignore that. Thank you, broadcaster. There we go. Just ignore that completely. It's Michael Babb, of course. He's triggering us all tonight. What an absolute legend he is. And just best of luck to him. He might start from the pit lane, so we might not have to deal with it for a couple of laps.
I like the wheels.
The wheels aren't too bad.
I like the wheels.
If you're a tripophobe, then that's still a problem. They've got holes in them.
Chris Murphy in his Kaleidoscope vehicle, and then I think that's Simon Scanlon there, Spidey, and
James Lawrence in the Midas Mercedes.
Taco Bell
is Taco Sport, Taco Bell. That's Hayden Marsh. So it's his usual way. There's some great altered names for the taco sponsorships through there as well. So there's Michael Babb will start as usual from the pit lane, and we go out for our out lap with 1 hour and 5 minutes on the clock, 3 p.m. local time out there at the moment. It's 29 degrees track temperature, 22 degrees air, sunny and clear on the forecast, so we expect to see nice weather for the full duration of this race. No rain curse coming from me. It's because I changed my name to Sean tonight, Sean. That's why I haven't brought any curse. I'm not bringing the curse that my other name, my long forgotten now relegated name, brings. So hopefully that brings some luck to everyone out on track. Nonetheless, big welcome in to everyone on YouTube. Hello, hello, hello. Lovely to have you all in here. We have been reading comments, but we've just been doing our thing in qualifying. I'm sure we'll read more over the next hour and 5 minutes, but welcome in. Lovely to have you all in here in both the YouTube broadcast and the Twitch side of things as well. Quick mention for our sponsors, of course, it is the Simrigs Sprint Series here at Octane Online Racing. You're watching Split Blue at Simmons Plains, Red Bull Ring. And so, of course, if you are an OOR Patreon, you do get 5% off with a discount code at the simrigs.com website. So do try and, if you can, give us a bit of support on the Patreon, and you do get that lovely 5% discount. But Sean, looking forward to a good race today. I think it's going to be absolutely mega.
I think so too. And just looking that little fly through the field, not a lot of Ferraris near the pointy end tonight. Obviously, last week at Barcelona, the Ferrari was the car to have, and our highest qualified Ferrari is, I think that's P9. So almost not scraping it. Oh no, sorry, no P. Yeah. Oh, I can't do
Uh,
maths. P7, P
P8. P8.
P8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Plus or
maths is
minus
hard.
one. Yeah, plus or minus one. We'll be fine, yeah. All right, well, I think we're going through the last corner, Red Bull Mobile Curve. So here we are for the final round of Split Blue at the Red Bull Ring. Get buckled in, get your drinks ready, sit up in your seat, watch the stream because we're about to go green. And here we are at the beginning. Ashley Johnson will lead us away with Grant Begg in tow. Then Mia Rose, then Joshua Vediger. The green flag by the stewards has been waved. Race controllers started this race and we're away. We're good. Inside line there for Joshua Vediger. It's a brave line to be taking. Mia Rose on the outside trying to stay out of the chaos that inevitably comes across the curb. We go at the top of the first corner of the Niki Lauda curve, and it looks like everyone has gotten through safely. Well done. Michael Badler's come out of the pit lane as well, but up we go, down and up we go towards Remus, the first curve, and first proper corner here, in my opinion. That's Ashley Johnson. He's off to a great start in this race, Sean. He is clear of the trouble, or nearly a little bit of trouble there too, but the back markers also getting through Remus nice and clean.
So close, yeah. That was reasonably clean. A little bit of argy-bargy, you know, hip and shoulder bumpy racing as we see Josh Holmes getting a bit of a serve, and he's lost the position there to Scott Blair. Bit of a tough one for the Ferraris. Just not enough poke up those straights to compete with really anything on the grid. It's quite a surprise. Usually it's one of the stronger ones, but. Our top three, Johnson, Reynolds and Begg, all starting to tear away as Johnson actually, leaving Reynolds and Begg behind. Obviously they're all fighting, so this is going to be playing nicely into the McLaren drivers' favour. Just, you guys just fight back there and I'm just going to drive this way, okay? Just
Exactly.
leave me to it. And
yeah, that's right.
no
I'll do my own
worries.
thing back here. I'm quite happy. Yeah, just chilling out. Onto the rear wing we go with Grant Begg, Mia Rose all over the back of him. Good run out of the first corner for Mia Rose. She'll be on the outside going into Remus, so Grant Begg will have to go defensive and try and defend this. But there's 4 cars in this battle. They're actually 3 wide. It is a Reynolds sandwich and through. It looks like, nearly a bit of contact there. Mia Rose hitting the back of Reynolds, who has to get on the brakes much harder, and actually through goes Grant Begg, so he's held onto the position. But
flash of the lights from Reynolds.
He's unhappy. Yeah, that's right. He's unhappy.
Couple of numbers being called there for sure.
I think so. And Ashton Reynolds, he's been right in this fight. I mean, he qualified, I think it was P4, I believe. So he's come right back into this, and he's probably quite happy that it's all sort of collapsed in on this area and he can sort of fight for these positions. But actually Johnston's just looking untouchable right now at the front.
And Niparis with the big start going from third row of the grid all the way to P3 in the podium positions. That GTR is one of the better picks for this evening, I think. It's got so much of that, it doesn't have the top end, but it's got so much acceleration that these sort of, you know, they're not short straights, but they're not super long either. So it's just kind of the perfect distance for the Nissan to be able to stretch its legs before it starts running out of puff in the top end. As the 2 Nissan drivers are just having a look, nothing doing this way around, but probably into turn 3 they'll be focusing on getting a good slipstream, and they're all in a line nicely together. As Grant Beggs managed to pull out a second from Matt Niparis, so out of the tow, he's all by himself defensively. As Mia Rose goes a little bit wide there. Looks like it's keeping it all together, but she'll have that Porsche absolutely chewing on the back bumper of the McLaren.
2 cameras come up now so we can watch the battle for P9 or P8 or P7 at the moment, because Lila Bell is leading a bit of a charge there. McDonald is the one who's in front of Leela Bell at the moment. 5-car battle, then on, of course, your left-hand camera there, the camera 1. This is the battle we've been watching since the start. And yeah, Nipper S sort of becoming a bit of a bottleneck there, although Grant Begg's not had the best Sector 2. It's no real surprise with the BMW. It's not necessarily going to do the best in those sections, but yeah, the Nissan looks pretty comfortable on most parts of the circuit. On board on camera 2 we go as well, so we'll watch this from the perspective of the car behind Leela Bell, and that is Scott Blair we're on board with right now. So keep an eye on that. That should be quite interesting. There is one mandatory pit stop in this, so there's going to be a multitude of strategies here that go into play, I think.
Definitely. Fixed fueling rate, so 25 seconds if you want to take fuel and do no tyres, or you can spend the extra 5 seconds in the pits for a set of fresh boots as well. So it'll be interesting to see who can keep their tyres alive for doing the no tyre strat, because obviously that is the most optimal. You save yourself 5 seconds, but maybe not in terms of if you're faster on a new set of tyres.
Oh, it's a look down the inside from Mia Rose.
Yep. Nice.
It's set up nicely.
Oh, yep, it's close. I think this GTR is going to probably out-drag the McLaren. Yep, he's just pulled away. And then defensive just seals the deal. And Mia Rose has a look around the outside. Is keeping it there, but just not enough. Not enough to mess with that GTR and its 1,000 million horsepower that it just happens to have.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we saw the difference in speed there on the straight after Remus, and it's just, I mean, the McLaren's got a good front end on it. It does love to turn in quite nicely, and Mia's trying to use that to her advantage here, but Ashton Reynolds, I mean, he's planting the car in the middle of the racing line. So every which way Mia tries to go, it doesn't matter how well your car turns in or how well it hangs around the outside, you're driving a lot more track, and then as soon as the straight comes up, we will see it again here. Not the best exit or entry into Red Bull Mobile Curve there for Mia Rose, but she will hang on, and Ashton Reynolds will hang on as well, I think, easily through this next lap for the most part. Pat Oliver
and that's Josh Holmes under braking. He's got it stopped in time, and he's managed to make that move stick, and it's whether or not he can keep. He's got the inside for the next corner, but Pat Oliver seems to have gotten a better run. He's gotten in front. That is some mega driving from these two. Nice battle.
Well, you can never really tell, can you? You overtake into turn 1 and you go, right, well, someone's going to be on the power a little bit later than the other, and it's probably the person who tried to overtake. You usually go quite deep, and then you can often have a repeat when you get up to this bit of a hairpin at the top of the hill for Remus as well, and then you're still side by side heading towards Schlossgold, where you do have to sort it out by this point, though, because as you said earlier on, that's where the kitty litter is, and you don't want to be ending up in there, that's for sure.
Doing a Albon Hamilton impression.
Yeah,
that one will stick with me forever.
Yeah,
my man robbed twice by the same man of 2 podiums. Oh.
That's right. I know it was very painful to see that happen to Albon. He was on charges, but you know, that's the thing, isn't it? If you're trying to be brave around the outside, you've got to be able to trust the driver on the inside. So unfortunately, it is what it is. So we're now seeing, oh dear, and that is a Lamborghini into the back of the Taco Bell sports car, and that was an unnecessary incident there. I think just got a little bit too late on the brakes to the Lamborghini and not looking at the car ahead.
Definitely, yeah, that's a bit of an unfortunate one. Probably going to get a little slap on the wrist for that. Probably, I'd say probably 15 seconds, maybe a drive through. Who knows? It's the first offence of the race, so hasn't been too much death and carnage, to be honest. It's been pretty tidy from Split Blue, which I've come to expect after commentating the last few rounds. They tend to run a pretty tight ship in terms of not crashing into each other. Just noticed there, Leila Bell with a little 5-second penalty, probably out of position, was speeding possibly at the start of the race. So just a little penalty there, but that's again, you just don't take tyres, and she's basically worked that one off. So it'll be interesting to see if that kind of forces her to do the tireless strategy, which in Porsche could be a bit sad, just being a bit of a hungry car for rear tyres, but it's a short race. It's only an hour, hour and 5 minutes. So we'll see. We'll see what the people are doing.
We'll see. I mean, you know, tyres over the course of an hour. You know, we've all done endurance racing, and if you've been racing in the Duo series, you know you need to make those tyres last that hour, especially on those American circuits that the Duo series is at the moment. And another look by Joshua Holmes, tries to look up the inside of Rind. Behind them, of course, running very wide. That is the Mountain Dew one as well. Nipares is drifting around the final corner. That's going to cost maybe a position potentially. It certainly won't be the best off the towards the in terms of top speed on this pit straight. But in the pit lane was that Lamborghini we saw involved in that incident. There is a comment in YouTube that I won't repeat on stream, but it is yes, fairly accurate, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depends on how you see it. Ashton Reynolds now potentially losing out to Mia Rose, or is this Mia Rose losing out to Ashton Reynolds? I'm not actually quite sure.
That is the GTR doing GTR things, and just, you want to be side by side, that's fine. You just got to keep up. It's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, Mia desperately trying to find the NOS button in the McLaren at the moment, I think.
Danger to manifold. That is just, not enough beans coming out of that twin turbo V8.
Too right, but she'll have another go potentially. I mean, you can see the speed advantage the McLaren's got. Big lunge, late on the brakes, and she'll try and take it through Worth, and squiggly and sideways, trying to get the power down, but the car was moving very sideways. Impressive driving. I can't believe they didn't come into contact there.
Definitely, yeah, that is some classy driving from these two. Absolutely. Just having a little, oh, my screen stuttered. There we go, I'm back. Okay, I can see what's going on as we come down the main straight. It's not looking like anything's going to be on for turn one, but it seems to be the wrong place to make the move, because you're just going to lose it. Oh, is Mia Rose getting on that curb that you talked about earlier and getting a little bit of a slide out, which is getting her well off the rear bumper.
We saw her do that in qualifying as well, right? In the final lap, and put too much power down. She's obviously trying to maximize this straight as much as possible, sees it as a really good opportunity. And that's what they're going to have to do. If you've got a top speed deficit, the only thing you can do is try and maximize the exits. And you can't do that. A little bit of battle going on across the field as well. This is the one that was involving Joshua and Pat, but further down the field, a little bit further down there, I think that is Sykes getting involved a little bit as well on camera too. But some great battles happening all around the grid. Not a big difference between where the cars are sitting after 12 minutes.
Oh, that is a big one.
Ouch. That's 3 cars involved on the exit of Schlossgold. Big yellow flag is now out. I believe that was a 115 car involved in that. That is Simon Scanlon. And he has been sent to the kitty litter on the outside of Schlossgold. And he will be the worse for wear for that. On replay now. Let's see what happens. He just... Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh yeah, just Chad in the Mountain Dew Porsche, just losing the tail end there and just swiping the 115 and then getting collected by the car of Brent Sykes. That is not what you want to see for Scanlon there. That's just a nasty one. And then just being spat out backwards into the kitty litter is very, like, you sometimes you have a little big bonk, collision, and then it straightens you out, and then you keep on going, and it's all good. But that was just unfortunate.
That's right.
In the wrong direction.
I think I've seen that in the IMSA races as well, when they went to Red Bull Ring, and there's a McLaren that got itself. It was a bit of a self-beaching, admittedly, but he was facing the wrong way on the gravel, and he could actually move the car, but I don't know, man, the amount of time it took him to reverse a little bit and then get stuck and then spin the wheels enough to get unstuck and then try and turn it a little bit more, then get stuck again. It was so painful to watch, and the broadcasters decided it was great entertainment, so they left the camera on the poor bloke.
Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad. Yeah, that's GT3 cars, obviously not designed for the harsh off-road conditions of the gravel, so tend to not have as much fun out there. Even the grass, albeit it's nice and flat, it's yeah, not ideal. So keep it on the black stuff. Pro tip.
Pro tip, yeah. Drive faster and drive on the tarmac. It's a pretty good set of tips. Just don't drive on the grass at Nürburgring, even if you think it's faster. Not. Oh, big move and on board, and that is actually Grant Begg. He's caught right to the back of Ashley Johnson and tries to launch it into the first corner. That door was always going to close there for him, but it was a bold move from the BMW driver. And I didn't even realize, Sean, that these two had come together so close on track. So we were so focused on the cars behind, where Nipares, Mia, and Ashton have been going at it for the last 14 minutes, all basically side by side continuously. And we've got about the battle up ahead, which is now less than a second between them, fastest lap to Begg, and with Ashley Johnston under a bit of pressure now in the lead of this race.
Definitely. Begg's got the fastest lap of the race, so he's got those tyres on that BMW in the window, and he's just smashing out fastest laps. Kind of unfortunate that he went for that move there, because it's going to spit him out. He's out of the slipstream. He's got to build back up to getting back onto the bumper of Johnson. As Mia Rose has finally made it stick on the 1 million horsepower GTR of Ashlyn Reynolds. So now she's got to just do it all again on Nipares, who's been just watching this in the rearview mirror. And I guess now Mia's past one GTR. The second GTR shouldn't be as hard. Now she knows where to do it, but also the GTR just does what it likes sometimes.
I'm not sure I'd feel very comfortable on this track as a McLaren sandwich between two GTRs at the moment. The GTR as a bread is pretty hard, tough stuff. So she's going to have a bit of a hard time potentially. But yeah, as you said, now that she's found a way to take down Ashlyn and get ahead, maybe there's a little trick that she's found out about how these GTRs are performing. That would be expected of Mia. She's got great race sense. So now it'll be on the GTR drivers to figure out where the McLaren is weakest and try and take advantage of that. Camera 1 showing the battle between Begg and Johnston is, from what I can tell, somewhere in the region of 0.3 to 0.5 of a second slower per lap. And we were talking about how do you reduce that pit stop time? How do you get rid of that? If you don't want to change tyres, save yourself 5 seconds on track. What kind of driving are you going to have to do for that, Sean? And it's going to be essentially tyre saving, trying just to tiptoe around a little bit, avoid that wheel spin, avoid the sideways movement of the car. Mia going for a move, maybe. Oh, this is going to be close. No, she backs out of it. Won't be another chance until corner 1 now for her. But I think it's that middle sector. Sector 2 is just lightning for Mia in that McLaren.
Definitely, the GTR, not the most aerodynamic and amazing vehicle in terms of pure mechanical and aerodynamic grip, but once that V6 just starts singing its sweet song, it looked like Mia was, frankly, not only on the throttle, that car was just rocketing away. And so we've got Ashlyn Reynolds going side by side. It's just the worst combination of cars to be amongst, because you've got a GTR that's attacking you from behind, and then you're trying to attack a GTR in front, which has got the same power as the car that's attacking you from behind. So now she's losing the toe from Nipares in front, and it's going to be a sitting duck to Ashlyn Reynolds in the GTR.
She's having to late brake into every single corner and try and get herself in front of the GTR of Ashlyn just to try and defend. And you can see the decision-making process that Mia's going through. Every time she comes out of a corner, she's immediately onto the defensive line. Doesn't want to give Ashlyn a potential run up the inside, because she knows that she needs to be able to leverage that later braking for her car. And Ashlyn Reynolds with a bit of a moment, so he'll lose a little bit of time. But yeah, she's played that one very, very well. Just use the defensive line as often as possible. Brake late, but yeah, if Ashlyn got down the inside of her, then that'd be it. The overtake would be done once again, and then away the GTR would go on the straights. And speaking of the straights, down the pit straight we go. And is it going to be a send? No, it's Grant Begg is doing the old mind games trick here, and is being in every single rear view mirror that he can possibly put himself in on Johnston's car right now.
Yeah, he's got firmly in the middle, getting a little bit of the sides. Just, hey, I'm here. He's it's a big car, the BMW, with that big snout. It's hard to miss, especially with the very loud color scheme of the Pit Viper livery. big fan. I just love a colourful car. I just like that's the thing I love about sim racing is that people come up with such great.
Oh,
Oh,
Ashley.
that's a big spin. Oh, those wheels are lighting up. They were not happy with the amount of power that he was trying to put through that rear end just then. I think Johnson might be suffering a little bit with the tyres, and this might be
Well,
why he might have pushed a little bit too hard at the front at the first stages of the race to build that gap up, and now he's kind of paying for it with a little bit of uncertainty in the rear end now.
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And from what I can tell in chat, what people have been saying, BMWs have got good tyre deg here. So, and I also happen to know that McLarens often have a drop-off on their tyres, a sort of window of inoperability, so to speak, about 20 to 35 minutes, or 20 minutes in for about 15 or 20 minutes, and they do come back. But McLaren does seem to have that sort of nature to its tyre wear. So we might see Ashley try and, we'll be able to pull a gap a little bit. But Grant Begg launches it to the outside, late on the brakes. He's going to have the outside line. Ashley will have to give him space. Does, though, outbrake the BMW. So pulls back into the racing line for the exit and gets the power down very nicely and will stay ahead. He's on the defensive again into Slosh Gold. We've got a stop-go 30 for the number 90 car causing a collision. So that's Sucre down the bottom of the grid, and actually going defensive again, but he will have the outside line potentially going into Rauch. Will he? Yep, late braking, lock up there.
Oh no!
Oh dear.
Oh, and they've kept it all together. Oh, that was so close to being very, very bad.
Oh dear.
I think he's just gotten away with that. I don't know if he'll get a penalty or what have you from that, but that was very, very close to being a very sad moment for everyone involved.
That's right. I think Begg was thinking, okay, Ashley knows I'm on the inside. Let's see if he's spooked enough to give me space. And if he had given him space, that move would have worked. But Ashley must have recognized that Begg was too far back, technically too far back to make a lunge. So was quite happy to close that door and take the racing line, which he was entitled to do at that stage. And Begg was just already, planning to go deep on the brakes and did so. And luckily, no major repercussions from that incident, and both of them will continue. Maybe a little bit of front right damage on the BMW and maybe some rear left damage on the McLaren, but we will see. But Reynolds has come into the pit, and Ashley Johnston has... Oh, what has happened to Ashley Johnston?
Has he gone into the pits? Or...
I don't think he has, because the pit lane entry is very short, so...
There must have been a mistake. There must have been a mistake or something afterwards. Oh no.
That is a disaster for Ashley Johnston, who was leading this race, and now he is finding himself back in P3, and that means Grant Begg will be in the lead of this race. Hopefully we'll be able to find a replay of what's happened to Ashley, the number 55, and that means Nipares has also gone ahead of Johnson. So not only has he left the... Here we go, let's have a look at this replay before I continue. And he's just gone too deep into the S's.
Yep.
The car's got away from him, and the rear said no, and that was it.
Yep. After that slide, yeah, you could definitely, those tires would have just been a little bit out of the window for maximum grip, and so he's gone in there with the full commitment, and the tires just weren't ready for it, just a little bit overheated from the tap. So we'll have to see what the stewards say about that contact. Mia Rose is just all over, and they've both missed the corner completely. So they'll be getting a little... I'm sure that will be a tick on the track limit warning counter, as Niparis is just kind of starting to leave him behind, which is very good for his race. And P2, been promoted from P3. Definitely all things going his way in yellow GTR.
That's right, yeah. Ashley Johnston's gone from leading Silver Class to being second in it, leading the race and leading Silver Class, to being second in the Silver Class and third in the overall race. And that was a bizarre little incident we saw, nearly an incident we saw there between Johnston and Mia Rose. It looks like Mia Rose sort of outbraked herself. Johnston sort of underbraked a little bit, then ran completely wide, defeating the purpose of braking calmly into turn one, and Mia decided to follow him around on the outside of the track. So Fascinating scenario going on here. Tom McDonald, by the way, the number 8 Ferrari, has managed to make it up to P5 and has somehow gotten ahead of Joshua Vediger as well. So McDonald is on an absolute charge in this race as well. One certainly to keep an eye on, I think, throughout the rest of this race. He's actually not that far behind the likes of Mia Rose and Ashley Johnston. So at the moment, fascinating. Mia Rose will actually pull into the pits and take her pit stop. Probably a sensible move, I think, Sean. Get some clean air maybe on the exit if you can, and try and work those faster laps. And Mia's been driving behind cars and fighting with cars all race, so she will have lost a lot of time for that. So maybe the idea here is take, maybe, well, I don't know if it's an early pit stop, but it's certainly a pit stop, and she'll try and find some clean air out there and maybe try some sort of undercut.
Yeah, definitely. The undercut can work quite well because obviously, especially when you're in the situations like this where it's a lot of heavy fighting, it's Lee Perkins getting the move done on Ashley Vinegar, and I think he's gonna lose too. No, not quite. The Lamborghini is doing Lamborghini things. It just does not have enough go. I think that also might be a back marker. Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the 90. That is Ahmad Sukri, sorry. My apologies. Maybe.
Frustrick? No, it's Lamborghini. Frustrick. Frustrick's the only Lamborghini. Yes. But yeah, that's a lap car, probably taking his pit stop already, so doesn't want to get involved in the battle of the cars ahead. And one Porsche going wide and one Porsche having a bit of fun on throttle. That's Layla Bell and Pat Oliver. This is the fight for P3 in class. So we go back to T-Mac. He's made it up to 4th. So far, so good. The best of the Ferrari drivers. Not a strong car around here this week, but he's making it. He's making a pretty good effort into this race to try and get towards the pointy end and possibly try and pinch a podium off of Johnston and Mia Rose, perhaps.
Yeah, that's right. And Mia Rose will be hoping to jump over Nipares and use the undercut strategy. Why do we have camera 2 on the Tripophobia? Tripophobia warning, of course, for everyone. Don't look at the bottom right-hand corner of your screens. Or do if you really like that for whatever reason. I'm not gonna. Benjamin Hignett, our lovely broadcaster tonight, doing a fantastic job on everything except for this camera angle. Love it. Love his work.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the liveries of all time. I think it's an extremely good livery in the sense that it was designed to shock and be cursed, and it's definitely doing that.
Oh yeah, I agree. It achieves the goals that have been set out by the livery designer 120%. Can't take that away from the livery, but yeah. Anyway, back to the racing. So actually, Johnston continues in 3rd position. As I was saying, Mia will want to undercut and get ahead. That's the plan B, so to speak, of overtaking the GTR is to just do it off track. You know, get it done in the pit stops, wait for Nipares to come out of the pits, and you know, you've got decent speed down the pit straight. Cars will come out on the defensive line for corner 1, so things can get tricky if it's close. But Mia will be out there trying to hope that she can put some good lap times in, and by all accounts, looking at the Delta, she is doing exactly that at the moment. So yeah, some good lap times here for the next however long until Nipares pits. Might just put her ahead, and finally, I think for the first time in this race, actually has some clean air to run in. So she'll be able to get better into her rhythm with this McLaren, and put some really good lap times in there. So across the line she'll come. This could be a very nice time. Should be in the low 28s, no, low 29s. So it's not the best lap she's done out there. But yeah, if she can stay somewhere in the 28s all race, that'd be ideal. But the question is, did she change tyres?
Yeah,
did
that's
she have
what
to
I
refuel?
was just going to say. Judging by that pace, because Mia Rose will be doing 27s or very low 28s on a new set of tyres once she got them up to temperature. So I think, as Matt Nipares comes in for his pit stop, this will be the decider. I think she didn't take tyres. I think she just did fuel. So we'll see what Nipares does. I would say if you're in this sort of position, you don't take the tyres because you kind of want to
Yeah.
have the track position. Like the GTR isn't really using its tyres much in the corners anyway. It's kind of just getting through the corners and waiting for another moment to give it 100% throttle and give it the beans, I guess. So
That's it. Yeah, that's literally it. I mean, that's I think the point there, right there. You're not necessarily going to have huge tire wear of a circuit like this unless you do, some really insane things with the tires. But over an hour race, if you don't have to pit, everyone here will be familiar with how to run a set of tires over an hour and 5 minutes or so. So it's nothing that is unfamiliar to any of these drivers. So why not employ a similar strategy here and save that 5 seconds in the pit stop? It definitely takes it takes a little bit of finagling. You've got to make sure that you're all good. Whoa, nearly into the back.
holy moly.
Oh, that was very close from Pat Oliver. I don't know if he got the braking zone a little bit wrong there, if the Porsche ahead was just a little bit slower into the corner that time. It's hard to tell, I think.
That's a definite brown flag moment, no matter what. It's yeah, that was getting a bit spicy, a bit too exciting for me. It's just yeah, this Porsche is looking. It's a quick car around here, but it also looks like a bit of a handful. With Layla Bell on I think it was on the previous lap, just getting a bit out of hand in the first corner, a little bit spicy. But yeah, this three Porsche battle pack. There's no pros and cons that are different between the same car. So you just gotta beat the other driver on merit. You've got no 1,000 horsepower to deal with or insane mid-speed, mid-corner speed like in the McLaren. You've just all got the same tools to work with, and it's a real challenge of skill. As it's looking like Pat Oliver's going to have a run. He's getting up alongside Layla Bell here. Oh, she's giving him the squeeze as they come into turn 3. It's going to be close, but I think Pat Oliver's just got that inside line. And
Has to
it's,
give space though.
wow, that is really tidy. Great driving, but oh, a little bit of a touch, a little bit of a kiss. Holy moly. But they're all pointing in the right direction. Play on. And that's Pat Oliver's still going to have the inside for the next right-hander. And finally gets the move done. And now a little bit of dust. And that's going to give Chris Murphy a bit of a sniff as he's going to try and go around the outside and a little bump. Oh, but
I
a little
think
bubble
he,
on the inside
yeah.
there. Oh, a little touch. Yeah, that is
Oh, the Porsches are playing Hot
oh,
Wheels out there. Oh
oh
dear.
my god.
And it's a tricky thing sometimes, especially on some of these corners where the racing line just evaporates, right? But I think there was a number of moments there where Chris Murphy didn't maybe recognize the fact that the car is gonna, on the outside, is gonna still be there in these corners, and we saw that into Rouch, and yeah, it just turned in very, very sharply. And Leela Bell is there; she exists on track, so she can't just quantum physics out and disappear. So, but that's cost Leela Bell 2 positions.
Yeah, definitely. That was some pretty hard racing. I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that, and yeah, that like the first couple touches, it's like okay, and then it's like afterwards, people starting to get a little bit fed up with each other, I guess. But it's racing is you gotta have a bit of respect, even though you might be a little bit pissed off that they might get by you in a shitty way. It's
I thought all the Porsches would play nice together, but I suppose not. We
no
actually
team orders this evening. No team orders from
no,
Team Porsche.
no, that's right. We do actually have 5 Porsches in a row from P4 to P8, and we've got, well, we did have 4 Ferraris in a row, but Blair, I believe, has just come out of the pit, so that was a momentary, only a momentary thing on the timing screen. So we have 3 in a row at the moment: Steve Lewis, Perkins, and Ashley Vediger. So it's all looking rather ordered. My OCD was feeling rather good about that. In comes Ashley Johnston for his pit. Grant Begg is also in as well, and so is Joshua Vediger. So 3 of the top 4 now coming into the pits. This will actually leave Tom McDonald in P1 for the time being, and obviously that will change around once again, but he's on a charge, Tom. Grant Begg will have plenty of room out the front once he comes back, though, so he'll retake P1 once Tom McDonald does come into the pits. So Ferrari leading the race right now. I'm sure there's a few Formula One fans who want to see that this weekend as well. But yeah, 5 people in the pits at the moment, and just a quick look around for our categories. Pro, of course, being led right now by Grant Begg. Silver is still technically Nick
Oh,
Perez. More contact.
more
We're seeing Mia
contact.
Bell.
These guys aren't done. These guys
They
aren't
are.
done.
This is just. They
Oh
are
my
going at it.
goodness. And just
Yeah, little
squeeze. Oh yeah, this is
tit for
hard
tat and-
racing. Yeah.
Be kind to each other, Porsches. You're the same manufacturer. No, I think they just want to. They want to have some good hard racing out there, and certainly you can do that at a track like this. Just got to keep it within the realms of reasonability, I think, is the key thing.
Well, I had a conversation with Grant Beck earlier today. He was asking me what I did for my strategy in the Beamer last night, and I took tires, and I said to him, "It's 5 seconds. You might as well take the tires because the BMW can pass here, so it can make moves, and it doesn't mind being in the tow. So if you get up on someone, you can get by usually pretty quick." I think he's done what I told him, and taken tires, and he's lost track position to Johnson and Mia Rose, but I think he'll be able to pull it back. Once he gets those tires online, he'll have such a pace advantage, which he'll be able to use and abuse to get by as these McLarens just eat more and more of their rear tires.
But this goes back to what we were saying earlier. The undercut is potentially strong. Well, I think we can say almost unequivocally now it is strong, because Mia in the clean air, the solid lap she's put in, and with Grant Begg obviously having a tyre stop as well, has put Mia in the provisional lead of this race, and with a gap of nearly 2 seconds as well. So I think probably could have been a good call for Ashley to take those new tyres as well. We'll see how he does. He's obviously going to be running the older set of tyres and saving that time, but I mean, you can see through the first corner, big difference in grip. And now let's watch the BMW use that powerful engine it's got under its hood and see what kind of damage, in a time sense only, he can do to Ashley ahead. Does Grant go low on the brakes? He does. Ashley gives him room.
Gives him room. Yeah, he's just not quite got it. Oh, nightmare.
Benjamin just trying to jump scare us all. Thank you, Ben. We appreciate it.
It definitely worked. It definitely worked.
Definitely worked.
Yeah, Grant is all over the McLaren right now, as he's got a nice overlap. I don't think he's going to make it stick around the outside. Oh, he is. Oh, this is really close. It's just the BMW so much surer on its tires, and just no love lost there between these two with that previous contact. Just giving him a little bit of a squeeze off the road, but now the BMW's got a huge run. Oh, is he gonna have a look at it?
This would be very brave if Grant Begg tried to move into Rin. That is not an overtaking opportunity there.
Definitely
Unless your name is, I believe, Alex Albon, actually. In the Williams, I think that was, we saw him do that, but I digress. Grant Begg just doing, this is a repeat of the start of the race once again. He's just going to have to be wide in the mirrors. I think, everyone who has not taken tyres will be slow in relation to that. There's Tom McDonald out of the pits.
Just jumped them both. Wow.
That is huge. So Grant Begg's job has just gotten a lot harder. He's got to clear 2 cars. Tom McDonald is an incredibly tough man to get past. He's a staunch defender. Ashley Johnson has been driving wonderfully today, so he's been hard to get past for Grant Begg. So now Begg's got double the work to do and still got to make up the gap to Mia if he's going to get that P1 back.
Yeah, that choice to take tyres doesn't seem like such a good idea right now, but if you can just keep the tyre life, like the tyres alive, they will last a lot better. And as these guys that have just taken the fuel, as their tyres sort of reach that second kind of phase of sadness, as we professionally call it in business, that he might be able to start making some moves by. But yeah, it's not looking good right now, but I think just need to dig in and not make any silly mistakes going for moves that just aren't on. As he's making it, he's having a look, he's forcing the issue, he's gotten it alongside, and he's going to make it happen into the final corner. A little bit of a touch there, but that is perfectly on. He's gotten it well alongside. What a move into the last corner.
Indeed. That was stunning. And there's nothing that Ashley Johnson can do in that situation. Grant Begg had full rights to be on the inside of the apex there, and Ashley tried to get that turn, in which he obviously has to do at some point. It's terrifying when there's a car on the inside at the final corner, but so a little bit of contact, but I don't think anything will come of it. Grant Begg goes up. He has to get this move done. Let's go on a replay, rewatch what's happened here. He's seen the gap. He's sent it at Rint, which is just... And so it puts Ashley offline and on the curbs, doesn't get the power down, and then Grant Begg can just drive on through on the inside of the Red Bull Mobile curb. So well done there, Grant Begg. He's got to do that again now, and we were just saying, sure, if he waits 15 minutes, these other tyres, the slower tyres, will go off even further, and he'll have a couple of easy overtakes and go for it. But if he doesn't start this charge after Mia now, who is 3.5 seconds up the road from Tom McDonald, then he is not going to retake that P1 in this last 25 minutes of the race. And now we look forward to seeing what he can do against Tom McDonald, who I think we all know, or those who've raced with Tom, he's a staunch defender. So we'll hug those defensive lines and make it very difficult for the car behind. Not to say that Ashley Johnston didn't, because that was very much Grant, being extremely bold on track. Overtaking at Rind is terrifying, and looks like Ashley Johnson in the background is suffering. But Grant Begg got a run now on Tom McDonald. It'll have an overlap, so he'll have rights to the inside of the corner. Tom will have to give him space. No, Grant backs out.
Yeah, it's a kind of between a rock and a hard place, because you don't want to be right up somebody's bumper going through that first corner, because if you just get on that, when you're behind someone, you usually turn in just like a little bit more to kind of counteract the whole aero wash thing, and so you're probably more likely to get a bit of that inside curb, which the Beamer can't take, surprisingly. Like a lot of those front engine cars can just monster over some of the curbs, like if you're in a Mercedes or the GTR, but yeah, the BMW cannot do that curve. It just gets launched to the moon as we're looking through. It's just, he's just got to stick with it and wait until he can get an overlap. Oh, very, very wide Ferrari. Humongously wide Ferrari right there.
Brilliant racing on both cameras right now. Got Grant Begg desperately and sensibly trying to find a way through the Ferrari of Tom McDonald. And then we've also seen the continuing battle of Lee LaBelle versus Chris Murphy, and they both went to the pits at the same time. So they're just running the same thing. Will he try to get to Rind again? He'll go on the outside this time. So it was one overtake on the inside. I don't think he's going to have much chance to do this here, because he'll know how tricky it is on the outside of the Red Bull Mobile corner. Can't get it done. He won't have particularly massive overspeed. Yes, he will slipstream. Plus that BMW power down the straights. Another opportunity. Can he outbrake Tom McDonald? Tom McDonald does that nice early turn in, which forces Grant Begg to go onto the inside and take that shorter line as much as possible. But now the inside line into Remus is going to be with Grant Begg. Tom McDonald's going to have to outbrake Begg like crazy to make this work. Ashley's trying to get back into it there, fighting with Ashton as well. Round the outside stays Tom McDonald, but Grant Begg, he's got the nose ahead. He's got the position at the moment, and he'll start his charge after Mia Rose. I don't think there's anything that Tom McDonald's going to be able to do into Schloss Gold for that, except for a huge dive. And it's not going to happen because Grant Begg puts that BMW in the center of the road, and move done. Oh, Tom McDonald runs wide. That'll let Ashley through.
He's going to lose a couple there. Oh, yep. The GTR of Ashland Reynolds getting by.
Oh,
no! Johnson's just been murdered.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
so that's the second time that Ashley's had an incident there with the car on the inside. Well, in this case, coming from the back, and I think Ashton Reynolds was just trying to outbrake Tom McDonald who was on the inside, and try and snag that position after Tom McDonald made a mistake. And unfortunately, he's just gone right into the back of Ashley and spun him round. And Ashley's race has gone from bad to worse. What a disaster. On replay it is. Yeah, Ashley's braked at the appropriate time for himself, and he started to turn in, and I think Ashton just got a little bit too eager there, I think, fortunately.
That is very unlucky, and that's probably going to be a bit of a harsh penalty, because you can see how it happened. You've got a car up on the inside, and you're trying to focus on that car and not crash into that car, but there's also a car on the outside as well in front of you, and it's just too many things going on at once, too many pots and too many fires. Just couldn't keep them all from catching. So That is a bit of a shame. So that is going to bring Niparis and Vidiger into P4 probably. If they can manage to get past McDonald, these two GTRs have got a lot of speed. They'll probably have a bit of an easier go at it than Grant Begg did, because that GTR is ridiculous on the straights. Like the BMW's not bad, but the GTR, I don't know. They're just V6 versus straight six, I guess. V6 win.
Yeah, just V6 wins, and I mean we'll hopefully get a chance in this race to see the BMW directly compared against the GTR, but possibly unlikely given the pace of Grant Begg. He's already put a little bit of time, taken a little bit of time out of Mir, but there's 5.5 seconds for him to catch up in 20 minutes, so he's got a big job. We're now on the rear wing of Nipares. Nipares has been elevated up into the lead of Silver Class here, and Ashley will be, furious with that situation, because he would have wanted not only the race win, which was somewhat taken away with from him, but and then also now with that contact there, he's back in P8, unfortunately. Still P2 in the Silver Class though, so at the end of the day, when he's still top 10 after being spun like that, you've just got to get your head down and get going again, and I'm sure that's what he'll be doing. But yeah, this will be a pleasant thing, I'm sure, for Nipares. We're thinking, great, the main competitor in Silver Class has just been rammed off the road, fantastic, and the person ahead's going to have a penalty potentially from that, so that's looking pretty solid for maybe a P4, and if Tom McDonald's tyres continue to drop off, that could be a real opportunity for a podium position in this final round here for Nipares.
Yeah, Nipares has been having some, he just kind of quietly goes about his business and just finds himself in the, up at the pointy end. He seems to have these really, they seem a little bit effortless, like the way that he just gets himself into these situations week after week. He's really consistent, which is really cool to see from the Silver Driver. So yeah, fighting for a possible podium finish if he can manage to get by T-Mac. Obviously, he's got Reynolds who's going to try and open that can of worms first, so he can kind of sit back, relax for a little bit, just stay in the slipstream and kind of figure out a way, watch how Reynolds goes for it, and then maybe try and duplicate the move when he eventually catches up, because that Ferrari doesn't look super happy on its tires, and obviously the power difference between the two cars is quite immense. As Reynolds pulls out of the slipstream, and he's got an almighty overlap. He's almost gone through.
Sorry, well, I forget. Was he actually ahead already? Quarter.
Yep. That is good.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And this has let Nipares through as well, because it's compromised the exit for Tom McDonald.
So. Oh wow.
I'll just look at it. I mean, it's just, it's complete.
Oh, whoa. That is just, okay, come on, guys.
Okay,
let's calm down.
Yeah, you can squeeze a car when you're side by side, but not when you're tail to bumper. That just does not end well any day of the week. There is a 15-second penalty for the 28 Nissan. That is the car we've just seen gone through on Tom McDonald. That is Ashton Reynolds. Picks up a 15-second penalty. So no doubt he was pretty eager to get the move done, get his foot down, and try and look at that. I mean,
what a save. Wow, that is
huge counter steer there from Nipares.
I don't know if that would be a penalty or something, because that is obviously no harm there, but gee whiz, that could have been a race ender for Niparis there.
Yeah, I mean, we're not stewards. I don't know if you do stewarding. I don't, but
I used to. Yeah, I do commentating now. It's a lot easier.
It is.
Don't have to make any big decisions.
We don't have to make any decisions. We can make prophecies that turn out to be false. It's great fun here. But it's very close to probably what might be considered dangerous driving. I don't want to go too deep into it, but yeah, you always got to make sure there's space there, and the squeeze can be good. Just got to be careful which part of the car you try to squeeze.
Yeah,
Joshua is going around the outside. This is going to force Tom McDonald onto the inside again, and you can just see he's just got there's no beans coming out of that car on the exit. He's compromised every single time, and even the Porsche has just launched past the Ferrari with ease. So I guess there's a lot of issues with traction going on with that Ferrari right now, and Tom McDonald is suffering through it at the moment and losing position after position.
Definitely a problem when you have to wait 2 to 3 working days for the turbos to spool up and that thing. Yeah, It's a bit of a shocker here, as it turns out. And McDonald has gone from the podium positions to P6. As we go on board with Michael Babs in the questionable Porsche, and followed closely by our AM class leader, Brent Sykes. And he's looking to possibly make a move on the silver driver.
Could be. Michael Babb, of course, started from the pit lane to save us all the ignominy of looking at the car during the first few laps, and now we do have it on screen. He's made his way up from last all the way up to P14, so it's a really good drive so far from the 666 car of Michael Babb, and yeah, he's well known around the community for starting in last place and working his way up through the grid, and he's done that well today, P14. The livery called Bin Chicken Racing, brilliant. So pure class from this man right here today, but under all sorts of pressure from Sykes, and Sykes has been impressive, you know, overall this season. I believe is leading the way in the AM class. Yes, Brent Sykes, and yeah, has had some good races out there for himself. So he'll be very happy. I suspect a Pro-Am badge coming his way for next season as well. Around the grid we go. Scott Blair currently in P7, and he's got 6.8 seconds up the road as Tom McDonald, but he's got Ashley Johnston behind, and we know that Ashley was very, very fast in the beginning parts of this race, probably has the pace over the likes of Scott Blair. Chances for Ashley to catch back up with that pack, I'd say unfortunately very unlikely at this stage, but you know, if he can secure P6, that'll at least be far out. Ashley is pushing like crazy right now. He's trying to get everything out of that McLaren.
Those tyres are definitely a bit sad right now. They've had a couple spins and they're absolutely having the limit pushed out. Right now as Ashley's trying to get this one done.
The track temperature is dropping though, so it's...
Oh!
Cool,
Yeah, that's some good drifting. He's trying to take the crown of best drift for this evening from Nivorous.
He'll get style points tonight, that's for sure. I mean, the temperature's coming back their ways a little bit. 27 degrees track temperature. We started at 29. Oh, I just was going to say we were a millisecond away from a commentator's curse on the final corner, and then we've just dodged another one there. So, thank you, Ben, for switching back to this part of the race before we end up inevitably being called out for a commentator's curse on Ashley.
Yeah, we'll try and curse somebody else. He's had a bad enough race.
Yeah. Quick, put it on Michael Babb. Go on.
Oh, that livery though. Oh.
Okay, let us know in chat, everyone. Let us know in chat. What are your thoughts on Michael Babb's livery tonight? What are your thoughts? Do you hate it? Do you love it? Do you respect it? What's the call?
Would it look better with a dented front bumper? I don't know.
Yeah, could do. Yeah, I mean, you know, the problem with for the tripophobes is that whatever camera angle we choose, there's a hole in the bonnet, there's a hole in the sides, there's you know, all of that's there. So no matter what angle you look at, it's and there it is, the infamous bonnet cam. So wherever you look on this car, you're in for a treat.
Oh, this is an unsettling view to be in. Partially because you're so close to that lovely texture on the car, and also because you just got that, you feel it's going to fall into that gaping hole in the front of the radiator hole. As we go back on board with Grant Begg, still got the fastest lap of the race with a 28.0, which he's done earlier, doing 28.4s currently, and he's managed to pull about a second. I was having a look at the times. Probably last lap, and he's managed to pull about a second since last time I checked. So he has the pace advantage if he can just get there in time. I think this is a time limited event. We've got about 6 or 7 laps to go.
I was having a look at that. Probably 7, possibly an 8th lap if the leader Amir Rose can get round in time. But you know, if we had those F1 graphics of shooting distance in, I suspect he's probably at this pace. Because that's Mia Rose's last lap, 28.9. As you said, Grant Begg's 28.4 or 28.5, I should say. So about half a second difference per lap. So you take the 3.5 seconds, that's 7 laps he needs to get within shooting distance. So he'll have to up his pace if he's going to catch up with Mia.
Definitely. And then there's also the problem of passing, because Mia won't make it easy for him. Even though that BMW is strong, it's it's not a free kick as we go on board with Grunt right now. And oh yeah, just a little. Yeah, that's just how you do it sometimes.
I was about to say that's not helping, but style points is probably worth it.
Definitely. That was mega. Nice save. And to be fair, probably didn't compromise a little too much. The BMW's got nice traction control for when you get a little bit of the slide, so it tends to keep it mainly on the beams. But yeah, not exactly ideal.
No, yeah.
As we go on board with Niferus, just looking back at Joshua Vediger, he's dropped him a little bit, but still within touching distance to try and possibly make a move. Just needs to keep in touch with Reynolds. I don't think he's going to be losing 15 seconds, but this is basically for P3, so the last step on the podium between these two drivers.
Yeah, exactly right. Some comments from chat. Hemi saying it's awful and he needs a timeout. Yes, there we go. That's an opinion I agree with in terms of
I
Michael
could
Babb's
not agree more. Could not agree more.
It's a stop-go infinity. And then Darty asking is Grant going to catch Mia? Well, that's what we were just discussing, and I don't know. Sure, it doesn't. At this, he's going to need to increase his pace, and then Mia might be managing this gap as well. We know that she's more than capable of amping up the speed if she needs to. So it's, you know, if he catches Mia, that would be very impressive as it is right now. If he overtakes her, that would be amazing. But yeah, to catch is one thing, to overtake is another. On camera 2, speaking of overtakes, that is nearly a move there. Scott Blair will stay ahead of Ashley Johnston for the time being. Holds on to that P7 down the straight and up towards Remus we go now again with these two battling it out. Ashley is going to try and sneak his way on the inside. Blair's giving him nothing, which he's entitled to do. Ashley's going to try and outbrake him round the outside, but
yeah,
no space given there, unfortunately, and Blair was run wide by that.
Yeah, that was a bit of a messy one. Just yeah, hemmed him in super tight, which is yeah, of course, completely fair game. And he's just going to drive around the outside. Wowee. Well, there you go. Just, that's classy. And now you have the inside for the left-hander. And this is not a corner that Johnson will be very fond of after this evening. And yep, he's been done. Oh, there it is. No.
Okay. Oh dear, oh
dear. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, our broadcaster has rapidly moved away from that battle. It did. I'm not going to call that a commentator's curse. I'm going to call that a broadcaster's curse. But unfortunately, yeah, Ashley just a little eager there, and yeah, I mean that's what can happen. Now he'll have PTSD for 2 corners in a row there now.
I think I'm gonna just make a phone call. I think I've witnessed a murder. Need to tell the relevant authorities. That is, as we go on board, just a little bit of a kudos touch. It didn't look as bad on board as it did from the wide angle, but yeah, that is just unfortunate.
When the car's loaded up that much with the weight and the transfer, it's just a small tap. That's all it needs, and the car's gonna become unsettled, isn't it?
Definitely. And so that kind of ruins that race. So we just got to go back to Tom McDonald. He's kind of dropped away from Vediger and Niferus, so just not able to keep that pace up in the Ferrari. His tyres just aren't holding on. And we go back to Joshua Vediger, who is all over the back bumper of Niferus for the provisional P3. Really wants this podium, I reckon, and don't blame him. Oh, as we see him, both GTRs are going mega wide, and that is Vediger through. Will Niferus be able to make a move into turn 1 and defends hard, super hard? I don't think you can push it any further. And the GTR's just like, that's fine, you can do that.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'll have the inside anyway.
Drive around you. Oh my gosh, that is just crazy.
What a sequence of corners that was. I guess, you know, they're all looking at the time remaining going, well, I've still got only 1 warning on the track limits. Well, can potentially use 1 or 2 there, and you know the GTRs is going well.
Tokens, yeah,
the old
them up while you've got them.
Might as well, and you know, the GTRs are going well. You know, I can't corner particularly well, so let's just use the runoff. use the speed tokens, and I've got double speed. I've got speed on the straight. I can overtake anyone. Now I can use the run-off areas on the corners too.
Yeah, Grant Biggs, 2.5 seconds. I just saw on the second camera, we can just starting to see Mia Rose with some clarity there. 2.5
But he hasn't
seconds.
he hasn't increased his pace though. Mia has not decreased her pace either. 6.5 minutes. So what are we looking at here? I mean, 1.5 minutes per lap. It says five laps. No, four laps remaining at the moment.
Yep, because it'll be this next lap. Because it's a minute 30. It's a minute 30 for a lap. So we've got 4 laps. It might be 5. It might just be 5 more laps.
Might just be. If it is 5, it's going. Oh, here we go on board. Ashley's just, Ashland's just off the left-hand side in no man's land, and Nipares is sideways through Rind. Stunning stuff on the replay we will watch. The squeeze happening. He likes Coca-Cola, not juice. And he said, I'm going to squeeze every little inch out of that. And it just doesn't make a difference in the end of the day, unfortunately.
That was some mega defending and mega commitment to just send it. That was a perfect example of if gap car.
Yeah, that's right.
That could have been one of the gaps. If there's no longer a gap, you're no longer a racing driver because you're dead. But that was managed to just keep enough space. That was some really precise wheel work from both of them.
It was Doctor Strange 1 out of 46 billion sort of situation that could have gone wrong in 45,999,999 ways, but managed to find our way out of that one. Grant Begg has taken about 0.7 of a second that last lap out of Mia. Gap's just hovering around 2 seconds, so I'm still going to say that he's going to catch Mia on the line to go around the final lap. I think Grant is going to have 1 lap right on the rear bumper of Mia Rose, but whether that's enough for him to get past and Mia Rose just goes, right, well, now I'm just going to crank up the pace a bit and absolutely send it. That's going to be the question. There's a lot that Mia can do to hold on to this, and Grant's going to have to push like crazy in these last couple of laps to actually, find a way to catch up that point, catch up and then overtake. And he's got good pace right now, but yeah, they're going to need that extra lap short. They have to have that extra lap for Grant if he's going to have a chance to overtake.
Definitely, yeah. It's going to be fine. It's going to be really close. I don't know if they'll get that extra bonus 5th lap, but yeah, this is going to be exciting. I'm really hoping that they get together and we can see some epic racing for this final lap sort of battle for the lead. Because Grant is managing to knock out some 28.5s, which I'm assuming is a lot better than what Mia is able to do on those older tires.
She just did a 28.6 there, so she has increased her pace a little bit. That's why the gap hasn't reduced as much. So the overall is still a second over 2 laps, but based on that 0.7 that he took out previous time. But we also had on the camera for a moment the battle between Leela Bell and Chris Murphy continues. Chris Murphy is ahead in P11 at the moment, but these two Porsches who have been at each other's heels the whole time continues. Pat Oliver has run away with it and holds the last placing in the top 10, so holds that 10th place. Nipares under huge pressure from Joshua Vedeger. Joshua's trying everything to try and find a way back, is experiencing a similar dilemma to what Mia Rose did at the beginning of this race, and will have to figure out a way to counteract the speed of the GTR, which just, it's like it's got DRS in front of it, but it doesn't. There isn't a car in front of that GTR, and that Porsche is just getting left for dust. Grant Begg as well, he's had a good lap. So another 0.5 of a second has been taken out, and that is getting very, very close.
I'm feeling like this might be on. I don't know if Grant's going to get by, but I think he's definitely going to at least get in the slipstream and be able to give it his best shot.
Yeah, well, it makes you think about the tyre difference, doesn't it? I mean, the choice to change tyres. Had he been out there on the same tyres, he would have been ahead of Mia Rose, and they would have been at relatively similar tyre degradation levels. And he's, so in a way, if he doesn't pass at the end, then maybe it was the wrong move. But I think the strategy call of the night here for me was Mia's to go and try the undercut.
Yeah, definitely. And not taking tyres would have been a good call, but it just depends, I guess, on the driver and whether or not they're able to keep the tyres alive. But uh,
Yeah.
it's so close. This is so close.
Yeah, the fact that we've got fresh tyres catching up with the extra second. Oh, Grant's run a bit wide on. That's a bit unfortunate. He is going to lose a bunch of time from that on the exit of corner one. Mia's going to be watching that in her rear view mirror and thinking, oh, thank goodness for that. Got a bit of breathing room with 1 minute 19 on the clock. I think they will go for one more lap after this, Sean.
Yeah, it's just worked out perfectly. So we've got a 2-lap dash to the finish. If Grant wants to get this move done, he needs to be in the slipstream before basically turn one. He needs to get a good turn one, get that slipstream, bomb it up into turn three, and then call it a day there. But I don't think he's going to be able to, because I think Mia's just been saving a little bit of pace, just not going at the full 10 tenths, and now she's giving it the full beans and just using up the last of what that McLaren's tyres have like left in reserve, I guess. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, you're right. We had a poll in chat to see if what the thoughts are around there for will Grant catch Mia. The majority voting no, but here we are in the situation, and I mean, we are about to go on to the last lap. 15 seconds on the clock. Leader is now on the final lap. It is Mia Rose from Grant Begg. The battle continues on camera 2 between Nipares and Joshua Vediger as well. Ashton Reynolds will serve a 15-second penalty. He'll drop out of the podium positions at the end of this lap and well down the order, which will elevate quite a few drivers. So the question is, you've got camera 2 fighting for the last podium position and the lead of the race, left-hand side, now focusing on the battle for P3 overall in the final part of this race. This is a silver victory for Nipares, regardless of the order between these two, but Joshua Vediger will be very keen to take a P3 in the final race of Split Blue season. Oh, and look how close Grant Begg is now.
Wow.
He's right there, but I just don't think it's going to be enough.
It just needed one more lap, just a couple less mistakes there, just having a couple messy exits from turn one, and I think that possibly might have robbed him of the victory there, which is really unfortunate because he is absolutely, yeah, he would have been able to make that move.
He would have.
Next lap, that's so unfortunate.
It's as you said, once he got the slipstream, it was going to be all over for Mia, but just didn't get into that slipstream range. And through the last corner we go. Mia Rose will be ahead for the final round of Split Blue season here at the Simrigs Sprint Series for Octane Online Racing. Across the line she goes and takes the checkered flag. Mia Rose, your race winner today, in her very, very pink McLaren, and it will be Grant Begg in P2, and looks like Nipares has held on. Joshua Vediger, to his dismay, will have to settle for 4th place in this race, and across the line they both go. Silver victory to Nipares, and Ashton Reynolds will have to suffer the ignominy of a 15-second penalty applied after the race. Ashley Johnson has gotten himself a 20-second penalty as well. Tom McDonald then will take P4, I believe, in this race, just based on the timings there. Could be wrong about that. We'll see once we get to the end of the results, but there we go. Final battles happening around the pack here, though. Bab still going at it. Hopefully Benjamin doesn't leave us in the final images of this split on this livery. I think the battle between Chris Murphy and Lila Bell has gone on as well. 0.6 between them. They'll come across the line. Murphy in 11. P12 for Lila Bell. Michael Babb will take home P14. The Abomination itself across the line in a gaggle of cars. Top job there. Horsberg will come in P15.
Oh, Horsberg's run out of fuel.
Oh, he's run out of fuel.
Oh, no. That's unfortunate. And that's Darty. Darty's just cursed them. Because he said earlier in the chat, I read it earlier, hoped everyone's fueled up, because Darty ran out of fuel and split yellow as we go to
replay. That's Lawrence getting turned around by the Mountain Dew Porsche.
That is unfortunate. Not a great way to end the race.
No.
And that is all Darty. That is, and yeah, there we go. Rip Horsburgh out of fuel. Classic. Nice one, Darty. That one's on you. We didn't do anything for that one.
It's the old, you got to account for that extra lap. You've got to account if even if it's just one extra lap of fuel you put in, you got to account for it. But
Green light.
that will conclude our final round for Split Blue. Congratulations to all the drivers out there. We'll try and do some general math on who might be winning the categories, but of course you can check the results on results.octaneonlineracing.com, so go and check that out as well. We'll bring up the final results on our screen in just a moment. I've had some more comments in the chat about Michael Babb's livery, some, I would say, on the negative side. So the race results here, it is Mia Rose, of course, who won the race for Pro category, and then Grant Begg takes out P2. P3 for Pro category is Joshua Vediger, but finishes P4 in the race because Nipares in Silver category will take out the Silver category win, followed by Joshua Holmes and then Pat Oliver, your top three there. Ashley Johnson was on for a win, but unfortunately a big penalty at the end, and some collisions from others around the grid. Pro-Am category, it is Horsburgh, runs out of fuel, still wins Pro-Am category. Well done, top job there. Steve Lewis takes P2 in Pro-Am, and Lee Perkins will take P3 in the 33 Ferrari. In Am class, it is Brent Skies and then Frustak, and that will be a Am class win for the season for Sykes. So big congratulations there to Brent Sykes. Absolutely good work across the season. So, Mia Rose, Pro category victor there, Sean.
Yeah, that was so close.
Yeah.
0.7 of a second. He just needed one more lap. One more lap, a couple less mistakes, and that strategy would have worked out just perfectly. It's such a shame. I kind of feel a little bit bad saying take the tyres, but it was the right choice. It just didn't work out today. But yeah, absolutely amazing race as per usual. We're lucky enough with Split Blue to get that time and time again. And joining us in the commentary box, we have Brad Gosling to bring us through Split Red.
Absolutely. Yep. Good to hear you guys. What a great little finish to the race there, and great way to finish off the season. Hey.
Absolutely. I think once Mia Rose gets in, she'll be still a little bit out of breath. So be prepared for that.
Yeah.
There'll be a break, so she'll get a chance to catch her breath. But yeah, no, fantastic race, and I think Sean, been a pleasure in the comms box with you, mate. Thank you, of course, to Ben for all the high shots and focus shots on Michael Babb's car. Thank you very much for that. But thank you, Ben. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. And yeah, well, I guess we'll hand over to Split Red now, won't we?
We will indeed. Thank you very much, everybody. What a great way to finish off Split Blue. And all the best for the Split Red race.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, George. And great effort. And all that you guys have done for the Split Blue comms this season so far as well. And yeah, I'll let Mia catch her breath as she's pulled out a cracking victory there, and we'll take on. So thanks heaps, guys.
Thank you.
Yes, as we no doubt will be just watching the last of these guys. Well, actually, we've got 12 minutes left here. It's not really even last of it. As we watch the final qualifying round for the Red Series, Red time slot here tonight. Obviously, just starting to get some good laps in now, getting the tyres up to temperature. So we will start to see a couple of times come through this time round. And Mia, wow, what a great effort! Congratulations on the win there. And yeah. I should say first, have you caught your breath enough to be able to start having a bit of a chat?
Maybe. That was a race. Yeah, I think the quick rundown is behind people who wanted to squabble more than race. So I decided to pit a little bit earlier and gamble on the no tyre out. And while my tyres were bad, they were all squabbling with their fresh sets. So by the time all of our sets sort of started evening out, they got in front of their battles, and I was just a bit, probably a bit too far ahead from the catch. But it was, consistency gets race wins, I say after that one.
Absolutely. And congratulations once again. And here we are watching the final round here at the Red Bull Ring, as we've got, I was going to say, we've got one of the JP and the Sonicus there, as he's pulled out a 28 straight. You know, he's coming off a great little duo series there last weekend as well, so be interesting to see how well he can keep that momentum going. And yes, there's Peach there now, and I've got to try and remember, PJ's got the purple on the back. I've got to try and remember Peach with the purple. So doing well, but both the Sonicus brothers very, very, very quick around here as well. Definitely can't say they can keep up with you, but isn't it great to see Keys up there in the Lexus as well?
Well, it seems like if you've got a front-engine car or a mid-engine car that's very broken in this game, you're pretty much at the top at this track. As you can see, Page 27.720 straight on his second lap. He's probably still got another lap or two left on this quali stint. But it's interesting to see that Sang at the moment, he's all the way down in 7th. He's 3/4 of a second away from Sonicus, so I would probably say he got a first banker in, but invalid on his second lap.
Yeah, and there's a few spots just there. The hairpin at turn 3 is one I know that I always found when you try and get just that little bit excited when you're trying to get a good run down that back kind of little half straight there, and it's threading the needle, trying to make sure that you get that you're right on the limit without getting a track limit there, or without going into the red. That was probably my biggest struggle point, was at turn 3. You go, yep, great run out of first one, and then you hit that and you go, ah. Oh. But yes, it is hard when you're trying to push as much as you do to not get some of those track limits. But Sang's definitely, he's 0.35, 0.34 up at the moment, but he's still 0.7 off. So obviously, whether he's, I'm not going to say he's had any traffic issues, he's got plenty of clear space in front of him there. He is moving up into 3rd position so far, but still half a second off as Peach goes faster again with a 27.45. He's definitely found the groove there, and it's going to be a good one for the guys to try and catch up with that extra half a second there. But,
yeah, and it's interesting. Well, so those McLarens, bar from me, seem to have a very, very quick qualifying time, but maybe struggled in the race. So I wonder to see how both of these Sonicus brothers go in the race, because if they've got a quick qualifying set, and if see what we saw from A. Johnson in the first race, would they suffer in the race? Because if that's the case, Sang might have a really good chance here to start 2nd or 3rd and get the race win purely off pace.
Yeah, because when you were kind of talking tyres there earlier, how did you find over that whole stint? How was the tyre life? What are these guys going to expect? 2/3, 3/4 of the way through this hour-long race. You reckon there'll be many that'll try and thread the needle and go the whole way? Because although it's a short track, it's still, hour's still an hour. Are they absolute shredders on tyres, or is it that you find that it wasn't too bad if you can manage your tyres well?
Well, with this track temp, it sort of does bring in a bit of tyre deg. Especially with the McLaren, where you sort of get that. If you do the full race on a set, around the halfway mark, you sort of get, the car doesn't like the tyre, and I disagree. And then after you've gotten through that really awkward phase, the tyre then, just picks a bit more up and the cars go okay. But that's, at the end of my hour, my tyres are probably 2 to 3, 0.2 or 0.3 PSI under where they should have been. So, it's, and here you need to make sure your tyres are up to pressure all the time because of the amount of high load corners you've got. But if you've got, if you're a Nissan, you've got straight line speed, you can just blast past them down the straight and hold them up in the corners. So, as I got dealt with from 2 different Nissans in split reds, so I won't be surprised here if most of the field do get tyres in their stop. But I won't be surprised if someone near the front who thinks they can get up there undercuts them by taking no tyres and then praying and hoping that they sort of get the same luck as I did earlier on.
Yeah. And did you find that, obviously coming out with the win, the difference of just taking the fuel with the actual pit time? It's you still got to take that certain mandatory time for your refueling. You reckon that'll play into a bit of the decision making as well?
Well, it's a fixed fuel time, so for those people playing at home, the fixed fuel time is no matter what amount of fuel you put into it, it'll still be a 25 per second pit stop. If you decide to take tyres, it'll add an extra 5 seconds, meaning the pit stop's 30. So, as I did in the last race, if you weren't here, I was about 4.6, 4.5 seconds, I think more about 4, behind the leader. So I decided to gamble, not take tyres, and then get the track position. And basically, that track position saved me at the end of the day because they all got stuck in traffic and fumbled around with each other, losing time. So it'll very much be that you take tyres to keep, to keep up pace, or you don't take tyres for track position. And this is sort of a track where if your car can handle an hour on tyres without dropping too much time, that could be something in your arsenal that you'll probably be able to take in to your pit stop and go, okay, do I take tyres or do I not? Because if you're in a car like the Porsche, you probably won't think about it because you'll probably lose too much time anyways. But in a McLaren or a BMW where the tyres are pretty good over an hour stint, it could be something that you'll go, okay, if I keep consistent and don't do something dumb like outbrake yourself into turn 3 or slide too much through turn 4, you could probably keep that track position and battle it out to the end.
Yeah, because it's very tight, as you're saying. Through the outside of the straight, there's not a great deal. There are a couple of spots if you get some good kind of power out of some corners, but a lot of it is you've just got to kind of stay single file. There's a lot of it that you do just kind of have to sit there. So if you're able to, manage your tyres well, I think you're, like you've shown, if you can manage your tyres and go for that track position. I wonder if anyone else has done that little sneaky preview and see what you've done and do the same, which will be great to see.
I wouldn't be surprised about that, but we'll talk about the race when we get to the race. We've still got about 2 minutes 20 left in qualifying, so we're getting down to about crunch time. At the moment, Pease is down at 27.4. That time still holds the top of the board. John Sonicus in P2, just under 2/10 away from his brother. And then it's a big gap, probably 3/10 back to Keys, Sang and Johnson, all nearly within a tenth. And then you've got Sisselswaite in the Nissan, Sweet in the Ferrari, somehow keeping that Ferrari up there. And then you've got the Carl Johnson down in 8. So top 10 separated by just over a second. But I think the moment the person to watch would be probably Sang, because he's got half a second to get if he wants pole. If he wants a front row start, he's got at least 3/10 to grab. As we can see, Sweet here is on a improvement lap, just under 2/10 up through the last 2 corners here. Be careful of track limits on the last corner here. Sort of a little bit slower, probably keeping it safe. Down the front road he comes across the line, 28 flat, puts him 5th just behind Sang. And speaking of him, he's just a 10th up into the last corner. Gains a little bit, but drops it all on the exit. He's going to gain a tiny bit from this lap. Just enough, but it's not enough to skip in front of Keys yet. He's still got 1 more lap in it. And Keys is also on improvement. They're all improving in the last part of qualifying. That's good for us. So into turn 3, he comes a little bit on the lock stop. He's got TC off in the Lexus, so that's interesting. Doesn't really gain him a lot of time on exit though. Only seconds up on his personal best through turn 4. That's pretty good. Yep, now through 5. He's lost a bit of time. I think he probably barely got the gravel. And yeah, that Nissan does not look comfortable through the 2 left-handers, and I don't think he'll probably get. He might get 1 more lap in it, depending on how much fuel he's got. But I probably think he's used up all that time with the TC off strategy. So
Yeah, pushing
to
hard.
Yeah, it's a weird strategy TC off on the Lexus, so, you know, you do you, I guess. But back to Seng, just under a tenth up. Now he's going to be a tenth up through the 2 left-handers. A little bit more as well. So he's got a bit of time on that exit. Now the last 2 corners here. I think he's got at least about half a second, or half a tenth, I mean, in that last corner alone if he just gets it right. Yeah, he's sort of got that curb there on braking, but it's going to gain him time. He's going to gain a lot of time. Nearly 2.5 tenths, comes across the line, 2 tenths off pole, doesn't matter, he's P3. Luke Johnson follows him P4 in the McLaren. And I think that's probably the rest. We've got 3 cars out on track. We've got Bukovic, he's not improving. We've got Vinny and we've got Lucas Keys. Vinny, oh no, that's Walsh, sorry. He is improving, he's up, so he hasn't set a time yet. But oh my god, that Audi is something. If Connor Hine was here right now, he would be hating this view as he was doing a 6-hour race in this car during the weekend. So here he comes to the line here. So he's 1.4 seconds up on, I would probably say that 130.9. So he's probably going to get a 20, what's that, a 28, mid 28 maybe, or sorry, mid 28 I'd say. Well, maybe not. It's probably mid 29, I think. I was probably a bit wrong, but anyways, he gets 15th. So that's qualifying. That was a bit interesting. Not a lot of people are improving near the end, which is probably something that this track loves to give you. It wants to give you some delta, but then next thing you know it, it's all gone.
Yeah, that's it. It's amazing how much of that really kind of getting that final little groove out of that first corner, and then you can get this little false bit of excitement. So as we are here going through the field, the 2 McLarens and then the BMW with a second McLaren through the Lexus and a Ferrari. And you'll have to probably help me out if you know a few more of these, the names of the guys here as we're coming through. McLaren's definitely taking out the bulk of the early part, the top end of the field. With the 2 Nissans coming, or you almost call that the next row, but kind of splitting the 2 rows there in your spandex. Oh, here we go. Sorry, absolute mind blank there.
Yeah, the spandex weirdly has that effect on people. I haven't got that effect on it yet, so we've got another 65 minutes for it to happen.
Yes.
But yeah, it's interesting. Just how you could say weird the Kunos bop is around this track. Seems to be no other cars outside of the McLaren and the BMW and the Nissan are sort of really good around here, but it's probably all down to that straight line speed, especially with the Nissan. So, but we've got 65 minutes left of racing. We've still got a championship to decide in this split. So, as we go through the rest of the field here, that's all of them. So, little bit down on what was in red, but I think it's still a pretty good showing for the last round of the season from these guys in split red.
They look like they've pretty well all got their setups ready. None of them. Oh, there we go. Final little checks and balances, making sure that all the setups are ready to go before they hit the big old fat start button. Ready to go as we get down to the final 30 seconds of the final race of the season. This is going to be a great little battle. It's some good driving, good close battles up and down through the different ranks between all the pros, silvers, pro-ams, and it looks almost like Herbert's the only one in the AMs driving tonight, so that'll be great for his points. as well. So as they now take off for their warm-up lap.
So while they're on their warm-up lap, I'll get up the championship table for Split Red. So, the story going into this race at the moment is that Seng has a points lead of 85 points over the number 44 JP Sonicus. Those are the only two guys who can fight for the championship overall. In silver, it is a very close battle between Carl Johnson, Cameron Sisselthwaite, Brad Palmer and Lucas Keys. They're all within 55 points. In Pro-Am, Vukovic has got a slender lead over Vinny and Real, so that battle is still good. And with Am, it's still a good battle between Robin Herbert and Ahmad Jusman. And I think we've only got Herbert here. I think Jusman is also in the race, but at the back of the pack. So basically, every championship is still up for grabs. Silver is probably the most exciting one going into this race.
Yeah, especially with the 3 or 4-way battle in that one, that'd be. And there's certainly not many track positions between the 4 of those silver guys either, so it's definitely going to be a good battle there to keep an eye on, keep a good watch out for. As I think a couple of those McLarens, if they get a good bit of clean air, I think you can. There'll be a few battle packs through, but if a bit of clean air, I reckon they might even get themselves a bit of breathing room there. But yep, definitely saying to hold on. As they all.
So they're now forming up here. So this will be an interesting start because the first couple laps here will decide probably how this race goes. We're either going to have an absolute, could say an absolute gaggle for the lead in the first few laps, or they'll all, spread themselves out and it becomes sort of a bit of a procession from then on. So they come through the last corner here. We've got the Sonicus boys up the front row, Sang Johnson, Luke Johnson in the second row, Keys Sweet, row 3, Carl Johnson, Wait, row 4, and then Real and Benedict in the 5th row. This will be interesting here. To the green flag, they're going to come here. They're waiting for it, waiting for it, waiting for it. Where is it? It's a bit late. There it is. Now they go. Couple gaps there in the middle pack. But a great jump here for Peach. John follows him. Senked on the outside. Oh, through turn 1 they come. Not a lot of hitting. There's a couple of hits in the back of the pack, but they get through fine. No one spun around. And Sang is beside John Sonicus going up here into turn number 2. So this could be P2, but no. John gets to the overspeed, but Sang into turn 2. Might he go for a move? No, this way goes for a move on Sweet, but Sweet bombs it down the outside. Look like they'll probably have a little bit of a concertina effect behind them. But the two McLarens are still out in front of the BMW of Sang. Luke Johnson's just behind there, and Sisselthwaite and Sweet are still battling for P5. They're still side by side. Sisselthwaite down the inside. Sweet gets behind. Now they're probably single file there for the first 7 spots. No, they're not. They're still side by side here for P5.
Oh, he's got back through. Sweet's got back. Got the under over.
Oh, but he's going to lose it, and then here comes Keys down the inside. He's probably got the run in here, but they're both really bad, probably through the second left-hander. Keys, yep, he's going to get it.
Yep, Thistleway just losing that traction, and that bit of road speed has definitely taken that out. He would be kicking himself, ending up upper position and then back 2 positions there as well. And he's definitely can't take too long to catch his breath because he's got Johnson straight behind him, and he's ready to pounce as well. As the front guys take a little bit, first 4, just have to take out a little bit of a gap there in front of the. Well, there we go. Here's the first 5. All the pros are now well and truly starting to take the gap. As Thistlewaite's really having a good crack again. That raw power of that GTR is just uncomparable to any of the other guys as we watch that drag race from camera 2. And is he going to try and outbrake himself again, Thistleweight, or is he? No, trying so hard to get the power down there. He's on the outside there of Keys, so he's going to have a bit of the dirty line, and he's going to be outside for the next one through turn 5 as well. He's going to have to try really hard to hold on there, see if he can stay to the inside for the next one there, but no, Keys is able to hold on to it. Thistleweight he's vulnerable now as well, as Johnson's going to try and take the advantage now up the inside. Is he going to be able to break himself? No, he pulls back in line again, Johnson. He's probably taken the smarter alternative there as he comes through, and once again Thistleweight tried very hard, but he's still got Johnson on his tail there. And let's see how he goes with the power down of this Skyline as he just takes meters and meters away as he's coming up this first kind of straight out of into turn 2. He's not quite close enough there, so Keys looks like he's got half a car width in front, so definitely not enough to be able to take a breath either. But looks like it's just starting to settle down a little bit there with these guys. But oh, what a great, exciting first couple of laps there.
Yeah, it was interesting. Thistleweight didn't get the got the overspeed on Carl, but not the overspeed on Keys in front of him. And further back here, we've got a battle here for 14th. We've got Palmer, we've got Chalmers, and we've got Bukovic with this in a BMW. I think that's Vinny and the other front. I can't really see the names of them, but yeah, that's on camera 2. Camera 1, we've got the Spandex car in P10. There we go. So Bushel, Vinny, Jusman are the last 3 cars in that queue. But at the moment, this is more looking like 2 battles of 2 cars each. Sort of, there's nothing really you can do around here to pass people. It's either you hope they have a mistake or absolutely dive them into turn 2 and turn 3. Just probably trying to dive them into turn 1 is not the best idea, especially up a long straight. You can see that, yeah, Bukovic gets the run, but the BMW will probably have the drag on him down the long straight here. But Bendich is probably, yep, he's under pressure here from Kong. Kong's going to go down the outside here into turn 2. There is your late break. Kong goes around the outside. Beautiful there by Kong. Just outbroke him enough to get to the apex and get past Bendich, so he'll lose a mission. And in camera 2, Bukovic looked like he had tried to look for a move on Chalmers, but not to avail there. You can see we've got now camera 1 on Bushel, so this is a really tight paddle back here for P14. It's actually nearly a really tight battle pack for P11 because Kong's starting to run away from Bendick.
Yeah, it is starting to get a couple of car lengths in between them all here, but yeah, Bushel's got his work cut out for him. It's great, almost a great little run out of the backside of that too, but I don't think he'll. It's not quite a long enough straight to be able to get a good bit of drag to be able to get down the inside there as they come to the last couple of corners. Oh, as we look at Keys, he's up the end.
This is a bit stupid here from Keys because he's done that. He's opened himself up to Thistleweight behind. They are now 3 wide down the long straight. Sweet tries to squeeze Keys. Then he puts Thistleweight to the grass. Thistleweight, I think, is going to get both in one hit here. 3 wide into turn 2. They're going to break. All is close. Sweet. But no, he's going to lose out here. Keys and Thistleweight now drag race out of turn 2. Keys has got in front of him. But Thistleweight might have the drag here for the Nissan. No, he's going to pull behind the Lexus. Ooh. So Sweet has just lost 2 places in 1 corner. And Thistlewight's going to try on the outside again. Oh, nearly gets in the sand there, but Keys got the run out the corner. I don't think Thistleweight can do anything here unless he bombs it. Oh, he'd had a look at it, but probably wouldn't be best of him to do it. And this is helping Johnson run away from these 2. Gap is now to nearly 3 seconds, so Johnson's got a pretty safe margin as Thistleweight learns Nissan cannot grip out of a corner.
Yes, it's got a lot of power, but not so much getting the power down. is the hardest putt for the GTR.
As Keys has been given a 5-second penalty. I will have to go look at that and see what that one is for. I would have to say it's probably something dangerous driving on the first lap is what we've got from race control. So probably something we probably didn't see. Probably he might even bombed it on someone and the race control saw it as it down, but it could also be weaving. So dangerous driving is under anything at this point. But at the moment, Keys is in front of Sizzleweight, and they're now pulling away from Sweet in the Ferrari.
Yeah, I wonder whether or not Sweet now is also trying to think of the battle of tyre conservation as well. If he's just kind of taken he's about that kind of second behind them, so he's definitely got the pace there. But I just wonder whether or not. Oh, here we go. Here's the replay of the good old GTR drift session once again.
So I wonder if
Tokyo
this is
drift.
Yeah, that was I would say that would be caused by a bit bias, a bit too far rearward, and with the tyres not up to temp, the rears just sort of locked on him late in the braking zone and sort of put the rears around. But Sweet's actually holding on to these two in front of him as we go back behind them. The battle for P8. We've got Carl Johnson, we've got Mike Reel, we've got Brandon, we've got, I won't even say his first name, Brian Kong, there we go. Bendick and Palmer there too. As on camera 1, we've got Sizzleweight beside Keys. Keys had a bad run, but he's going to out-drag Sizzleweight into turn 2 unless Sizzleweight goes for a big dive. He'll think better of it now. This is putting the Sweet back into the battle here. But Keys has probably had a bit of a bad run through turn 1, probably sliding that Lexus around because that cannot corner that thing. We've got a yellow flag on track out of turn 2. Got a couple cars going slowly. Looks like they've had a bit of an issue behind. Replay here, Real outside of Johnson. Oh, he just yep. That was weird. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. And Sizzleweight has gone past. Carl Johnson stopped on the gravel, but we'll go back to that. Sizzleweight has gone past Keys. And Sweet is now right behind these two again. So the more these two battle, the more the Sweet's going to keep wanting in this battle, but also that's going to hold him up too. If he wants to catch up to Luke Johnson in front, he's going to have to pit early. As Sizzleweight goes wide, we've got more drama in the back as Keys is going to have a look. He'll go for it the last corner, capitalise on a mistake. One of the two ways you can overtake here. Now Sweet is looking right at the back of Sizzleweight. This is an interesting battle here for P5.
This is a great battle between 5, 6 and 7. And Sweet's just on the gas a bit too early there, and TC intervention just killed his momentum there. And here's, there we go, Keys just a little bit wide. Hasn't been able to get the power down and had to, I'd say, get off the gas to be able to check it up. But, that battle is just relentless, those two.
And in front of them, there's a battle for the podium about to start as well, because Luke Johnson is starting to catch up to Sang in front. These two are very close here. So we've got two close battles here. Both the positions of the top 5. Sizzleweight nearly ran into the back of Keys through turn 3. And on board here was Luke. He's really wrestling that McLaren around. You sort of got to in the McLaren around the middle sector. It's a very taily car around here, just because the way you got to set it up to make it comfortable everywhere else. Sang has pulled a little bit of time on Johnson. I think Sang is he's not comfortable around this track. His inputs looked very, very spiky in qualifying there early, which sort of means you're very not comfortable around this track in this car. So he's probably just here to get points for the championship, and I think, credit to him, he's going to probably do it here at this point. Because where he is now, it's probably about a 40-50 point gap. So, and with fastest lap in there too, it's still not big enough a gap for JP to overhaul.
Yep, so long as he can stay, it'd be probably what you reckon in the, without seeing the work, getting the calculator out to work, at least in the, I'd say probably top 5, and Sang's probably still in front just on maths if PJ takes out the win. But yeah, a couple of great little battles here, but Keys just looking like he was edging it forward just ever so slightly, gap there from Thistlethwaite. But great couple of little battles going on here. Yes, as you're saying, just really fighting that McLaren there. Oh, through that kind of mid sector 2, just to be able to try and keep the rest of the track going really well.
Actually, I wonder. It's a thing. So it's something that's been going on at the moment. So, ooh, he slides there. So I've been told this track is a high downforce track, but after seeing what is happening in Split Blue earlier, I don't think a lot of people are taking that as a fact, because every single car that I was around kept out dragging me. So I think the reason why he's battling that McLaren is because it's probably got low wing on it, so they've probably set this up as a low downforce track, which, you know, I doubt it, but when you're against a car with high downforce settings on it, it makes a difference. So, as we can see here, Vinny, P15 at the moment, so he's 4th in Pro-Am. He's not doing too bad either. He's got a bit of a gap around him. He's got Kidman behind trying to catch. And now back to the battle for P5. These guys are not letting go of each other. They've pulled a gap to Sweet, and Sweet has made a mistake to get behind Real. Probably you guys would have seen that while I was looking at the points table. You can see Keys has got all the straight line speed, but Thistlethwaite just has him in the corners, but he can't do anything to pass him. He's probably feeling what I was feeling earlier on in Split Blue. No, but at the moment, this is they're both not really fighting, but they are pulling away from the cars behind. They're not catching the cars in front, so they're sort of getting in their own little area of the track here, which could help Thistlethwaite later if he needs to not take tyres and get track position, but I doubt it with that Nissan if it's sliding around as much as it is.
Yeah, as we see the first 2 guys just in and now coming out of the pits there too, as Walsh and Bushkovas was in there as well. So we've got the first of the pitters that are coming in, getting in nice and early, trying to get themselves probably a little bit of fresh air, I'd guess, as well, in case there might have been around some traffic, or just trying to possibly get any future undercuts. So it'll be interesting to see where Walsh ends up, considering he started at P15 there as well. Hopefully he can get that back as well. But once again,
yeah, you can see just how much Lucas has to basically put the anchors on the car to stop it at the apex, because that thing has got so much straight line speed it cannot stop, especially in a turn 3, because that's a downhill braking zone. So
yeah,
he's trying his hardest. But as I say that, they actually are gaining on Johnson. They've gained about 8/10 this last lap, so Johnson's probably made a mistake or something.
yeah, because he's
drop a
got
bit.
Bit off the back of Sang there.
He was already outside a half a second behind us. Thistlethwaite thinks that he's in a D1 competition at this point, just sliding it through the last corner. So, for those playing at home for the overall championship, Sang has to finish in the top 10. No matter, so if Peach wins the race fastest lap, Sang has to finish 9th, at least 9th, to get the championship. Just because of how big the points gaps are between 1st and 5th and further down. So where Sang is at the moment, he'll get a championship. An easy championship, as Lucas is driving off the track. What is he doing? I'm questioning. I question his abilities first of all, picking the Lexus. But if he's doing that, I don't know what. I don't know.
you might have been looking at the timing or maybe adjusting a few little settings or something, because there's not really a reason why you would be kind of flicking the dirt, kind of coming out of that turn 3.
Oh yeah, he was probably doing something on a second screen or something for that. So
yeah, yep, to just kind of keep the straight line.
Don't text while drive, kids. That's why you don't text and drive right there.
Case in point, right there.
And he goes completely
right
wide through the second last corner. I wonder if he's close to a track limit warning, to a track limit DT.
That would have been very close if he did. I'm sure we probably won't be able to see it on our screens, but that would have been very close if he didn't get one there.
It all depends on basically it all stumbles down to how good your best lap was, because that's where the track limits is based on. It's based off how well your fastest lap was, and if you can sort of get that time or lose that time after cutting a track, it'll be okay with it. But you can push it a little bit better, especially here. The last 2 corners can be a bit ruthless with how they police track limits, as we've now on board on camera 2 with the spandex car behind them. Directly behind them is Palmer. So this is the battle for the last spot in the top 10. And also a battle for the podium in silver, as Palmer had a look there but goes deep into turn 3. You're going to lose a bit there. And behind them as well, we've got a battle there, Pro-Am battle for P11 overall with Chalmers and Kong. So 2 class battles for 2 overall positions that are important as we get ever closer to the end of the season. Only 45 minutes remaining in this season for Split Red.
It's still so outside of the pros, really. It's still way too close to be able to tell between both of those, the silver and the Pro-Am, to see who's going to come out in front and take the title of those ones. It's a tight battle. So, yep, here we go. 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th. 2 nice little fiery battles. So we'll see whether or not the Porsche's able to get a good run out of turn 1 here to try and get up to Bendick.
I think Kong's going to have a look on Chalmers here behind, because Kong is right on the back of Chalmers here. He is too.
Right,
he's not that far, but he sort of had to look there, but he's too far back, I'd say, for that to happen.
I think he was just excited in anticipation of hopefulness of, I can come back from 10 car spots and make a run up the inside, and I think he knew that wasn't quite going to be the case. So, but he's definitely not letting go of the back of Chalmers there at all. And there we go for Palmer on the outside. Had a great run, but not quite enough to be able to hold it. And it's going from an outside to an outside corner. It's just not going to happen. So he's battling so hard, battling really well here against Bendick. It's very, very tight.
Yeah, so, and I think these two, the more that Palmer and Bendick battle, as I talk about track limit DTs, Gisborne has just got a DT. And I would say that is probably for track limits and not even just over 20 minutes into this race. That is not the way you want to get a... Actually, no, I am corrected. It is a race control given penalty, not a track limit penalty. It was for causing a collision. So I wonder how big of a hit it was to get a DT from that one.
That might have been that one there at that turn 3, I reckon.
That was with Johnson and Co. I don't think that could have been his fault, because it was very much a concertina effect, sort of caused by Carl Johnson. I don't know what he was doing, but stewards could think that Gisborne was the one at the end of it all, the one who caused it. So, but probably need a replay to see what happened. But anyways, back to battle for P5. We just got some dust kicking up in front. I think Luke Johnson went into the gravel there. Out of turn 4.
Yep, still pushing hard.
The weird thing is that Sang is also dropping back from John. So Sang and Luke are both dropping back from the 2 Sonicus up in front. So Seems like those two Sonicus boys have got their cars completely dialed in and going against what I said earlier on in qualifying about their cars probably being bad on race pace.
Well, we'll see as they get through, because they might have some good pace.
Here we go.
Look, here we go.
This would. Oh no. This would what put Carl in the gravel. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, that was never on.
Yep, and that was completely fair for a DT. Does he cause another incident here? No, he doesn't. No. Yeah, that was a bit. Yeah, it was a bit of a dive from far back. I think he probably tried to slow it up, but probably not to great success there. And he's going to instantly come in and serve that DT.
Yep, I think he'd be kicking himself for that. It's great to see he being aggressive, but yes, unfortunately, I think he was just didn't quite calculate that one out quite well enough, and unfortunately, it's cost him a drive-through. But hopefully, he's able to take that one away and go, I might change my braking mark inside that corner, I think. So this awaits still up the back.
Oh, here we go, and the battle for P3 is on here. Johnson is now on the back of Sang. So this could get interesting real quick here. The battle for P5 has sort of died down a bit, but this battle for P3 is about to heat up. And for those at home, these are the two closest battles on track at the moment, which are for a podium spot and the last two spots in the top 5. As Luke's going to have a look down the outside. Seng's going to go the inside defensive move here into turn 2. Johnson's going to absolutely send it to the apex. They come. Does Johnson get the run? No, he doesn't. Seng doesn't get the run either. They both have a bad exit. And Johnson's probably going to out-drag him here into turn 3. Gets the nose ahead. Gets the car ahead, but could Seng go for a bomb here? Looks at it, goes for it. Luke has a bit of a second thought about turning it there, and now Seng's probably got the position back. He does too. If Luke didn't sort of have a second thought about turning it there, he probably would have got that position, but he's got another 40 minutes left to get this third position.
That's it. You don't want to wreck it for either yourself or both of you.
Oh, Seng! Seng leaving some marks on the road there as he tries to pull away again from Johnson.
Definitely can't say these boys aren't pushing it to the limits. That was incredible. Great job there. Great job there, guys.
It was some hard, clean, fast racing. And now because those two battled, Keys and Sisselthwaite are starting to get ever so closer. So this could become a 4-way battle for the last spot on the podium. Something that Seng probably doesn't want, but it could possibly happen here.
I reckon they're definitely going to catch up there. We're within the second now. As just looking down to just outside the top 10, there's a great little battle still going on with Chalmers and Kong. Those two definitely not giving each other any room at all. He's going to actually, no, he hasn't outbraked himself. There we go, Chalmers. Unfortunately, he's just gone a little bit too wide, and Kong's finally been able to get past. Whether or not he's going to be able to hold on to that, he's got the inside run, but he's been able to get across a little bit to get a bit more of the right turn in. But Kong is just not going to give Chalmers any room at all.
Chalmers gonna understeer wide there, so that's probably the battle over for that one. But back to camera 1, they've all stabilised their gap, so this is now a battle for P3, 4-way battle as Keys is gonna go defensive down the straight. Probably had a bit of an oopsie moment out the last corner there. But now Luke Johnson is now back behind Seng. I don't think he's far or close enough to go for a move into turn 2. There's 4 tenths behind him at the line, so he's probably halved that gap here into the braking zone. Jesus Christ, Keys and Sisselthwaite absolutely gained everything on the brakes there into turn 2. And now Johnson is going to have to go defensive here for P4. He's got Keys right behind him here into turn 3. Keys going to go for the outside. Luke's going to go for the inside. Who's got the better brakes? It looks like it's going to be Johnson. Keys going to try the outside, but it won't work as Sisselthwaite's right there waiting for something to happen between these two. Keys is, I don't know if Keys is going to have a look here. He's right up there. He won't go for it. Smart move. And now this is probably going to help Sang pull away here as Johnson goes for a bit of a slide through turn 4. You can see behind there, just two really quick cars down a straight. So this could be defensive maneuvers here out of turn 1. It looks like Sisselthwaite's going to go for the pits. He committed for it. Let's see if he does. He does too. So he's coming into pits here. He's going to undercut by about a lap or 2, which is probably the best thing he can do right now if he's got pace.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. I'm like, I reckon Sisselthwaite's finally, he's seen this battle up in front of him and he's gone, I reckon these guys are going to hold each other up. I'm going to get out of this little battle, try and get the undercut through the pits, get a bit of clean air, let these guys doof it out, take up each other's time, and then see if he can jump out in front. I think there was a smart move there by Thistlethwaite.
And it's probably going to bring him out in a lot of clean air too. So he's going to have some good times there with a clean air and I would say new tyres. So, but at this point, I'd probably say that. I would say that everyone. Yeah, I'd probably say that everyone's going to take tyres in the stop because, you know, unless you know you can take your car the full way with a set of tyres, I don't think you want to risk it. Especially if you're sort of like, you know, saying he can't really gain any more positions from not taking tyres. He's too far back to get to John Sonicus. But, and as we say, that Keys is now going to go for the pit lane as well. So, he just gets it in there. So Keys responding to Sisselthwaite. I think Johnson's going to take this stint all the way to the end. So probably 2 or 3 laps. Same goes for Sang. And if Luke could go for no tyres in the stop if he thinks his tyre wear is good enough. And also we can see that Keys has got a visitor in the pits with him with Mike Real and Innocent. So those two will come in and serve their stop. As Johnson again isn't close enough into turn 2 for a move on Sang. But he goes a bit wide there out of turn 2. So, but if I was Sang, I would gamble. You know, if you think he won't have the pace over Johnson, you just gamble it, not take tyres, and hope that you've got enough track position to last. To stay in third, but also there's no point in doing that because if you've got better tyres you can probably pull more ahead of the McLaren behind, which is Luke Johnson. So he's probably in a bit of a predicament with the strategy.
You know, I wonder whether or not they're both kind of playing off each other as well, going, I'll just see if the other guy will pit and then see whether or not he's going to take tyres or whether or not he's not going to take tyres, or the undercut, the overcut. I wonder whether or not these two are just going to all but battle it out, and to see who kind of makes the move first. It'd be quite hilarious to see whether or not they both actually come into the pits at the same time. Actually,
well, knowing where we are at the moment in this race, it's probably going to happen because. We're we're a minute away from the halfway point, so they're probably going to be coming in either this lap or next. You can see Sisselthwaite is out in clean air. He's actually 3.5 seconds in front of Keys, so I wonder if he took tyres or not in his stop because that's a pretty big jump on Keys there.
I wonder whether I don't know whether he would have unless Keys did and took his 5 second because Keys obviously having that.
Oh yes, he did have a 5 second too. Yes, okay. So he probably did take. Yep. So that would explain the 3 second gap. I forgot Keys had a 5 second penalty there. So they they both would have taken tyres in for Thistlethwaite to jump Keys and Keys to be
Yeah.
3.3 behind.
Yep.
So
Probably
leaders, both the leaders aren't going to come in. But what about Sang and Johnson? Will one of them reacts? Nope, no picture just yet. So they're going to keep going.
Yep, as Bendig and Herbert have just come in through the pits there as well. Herbert being the sole AM driver out there at the moment, currently in the pits, right on that halfway mark. As these guys, yeah, definitely still battling out who's gonna balk first. Don't know, but that's definitely going to be the call of the day, I reckon. To see which one of these two guys is going to do it. But we're halfway through the race, but we still haven't even had half the field come in yet. So it
Seems
could
like
get very busy.
they've probably overfueled their cars for the first stint, which is a fair assumption. But I'm going to say this right now. I think Keys and Thistlethwaite are going to jump either Johnson or both of them, because if Johnson wanted to try and stay in front of those two, he would have pitted the lap after Keys, and he hasn't. So he's given those two enough time to get their tyres up to temp, new tyres up to temp, so they're going to be on it straight away. And I think that we're going to have to see one of these two come in soon, because there's no way they can stay like this and keep, you know, their battle for P3 alive. So saying, does it go for Johnson? Neither. Alright, this is okay. They're taking their first stints very long. Actually, I wonder if they think that you've got to take they've mistaken how the ruling is with the pit stops, but it could also just be they've overfueled a little bit for the first stint, so the second stint's only just half an hour.
Yeah, I think you're on it. Because otherwise you wouldn't really be wanting to, you would be at a bit of a disadvantage if you did overfuel yourself too much at the start of the race and being a little bit vulnerable. I know that obviously it's going to be a little bit more forgiving when you've got so many cars in such a tight area that you can probably get away with a little bit of extra weight of fuel, but I don't think it would take too long for that to really kind of settle itself out. So I think you'd take a fair bit of a gamble if you overfuel too much, because realistically by that kind of halfway mark, you really would be into a good groove and being able to see the race settle down. And yeah, I am quite surprised that neither of these guys have come in yet. I thought they would have by now, as Kong comes into pits as well. And here we go.
We've got one in the pits of
One of the
John
Sonicus.
So, and neither of the other two are coming in. So they've fueled a lot for this first stint. They probably were seeking that there could be a bit of rain happening. As Sing's going to go defensive here on Johnson in the turn one. Johnson's going to get overlap in. Oh, but he didn't get the run through. But he's close enough here to go for a big dive here in a turn two. Gets the slipstream off Sang, so he's going to try and not make this happen, but it is going to happen. Sang goes defensive. Oh, tried to fake the racing line again. That's going to spook Luke out to the apex. They both hit the apex scope really hard there. And Sang, once again, gets away with another life there in P3. Like, one of these two have to come in soon, because the way they're both going, they're not going to do each other races very well here. As Sweet is now in the pits as well with Carl Johnson and Gisman. They are all going to serve their stops with 28 minutes left in this race, and you've got to come in now, because this is getting to a point where you're going to be, halfway through the tyre set with the fuel. You're better off just pitting now, but none of them have. JP hasn't looked at the pits, neither will Sang, neither will Luke. So have they thought? Well, as I say that, Luke goes for the pits, but
That was a late call too.
I wonder if Race Control might look on that one a bit unfairly, because we were told that you have to follow the white line on entry. So, but not like that, because the white line does start just before you start braking there for that second last corner. So he's called it in there. He's going to come to the box. He'll hopefully try and overcut Sisselthwaite and Keys, but I'm going to say that's very doubtful here.
Yeah, I
Because
think
Sisselthwaite's actually 7 and a bit seconds behind John Sonicus, so either John's had a bad pit stop or Sisselthwaite and Keys are absolutely on it here.
yep, there's that gap between Thistlethwaite and Keys is still at that kind of around about that 3-second mark, so they're both very much on
And
par with
Johnson
each other
goes.
time-wise.
I wonder if Johnson took tyres there.
He very much could have.
He's going to come out now. There he is. He's now out. Here comes Sisselthwaite. He's gone past the start-finish line, and Johnson is going to get out ahead of him. Now, that looks
well
that
out.
either would be a really good laps there from Johnson, or he hasn't taken tyres. And now we have the leader in here from the race. JP is going to come in here, and he'll also pit. And now Seng will stay out. Seng is going long, absolutely long on this first stint. I hope he knows that the fuel pit stop is fixed, so it's 25 seconds no matter what you do.
Yeah, I did see that was a little bit different this time.
And coming up, a battle for P11 now. This is going to be it on track. All these guys have pitted: Benjix, Cod, Palmer. So this is going to be interesting now. I'd say all of them are taking tyres here. They're all probably just going to the end on these set.
Yep. Ooh, as Palmer does a sneaky little fake look of a dive, but obviously not anywhere near close enough to be able to make anything stick there. I think just trying to get in the mirrors there of Pong. Just not that he knows that it doesn't know that he's there by any means, but just giving him the odd reminder that he's got to make sure that he's slick and he's on point. Otherwise, he will get pounded upon by the Porsche. As these three do a great little battle, a three-way battle there, just outside. And Mike Reel has got a decent little bit of a gap there. Kind of out on his own at the moment. And Sweet still inside that top 10 as well. So having these two guys just sitting inside that top 10, I think they'll, the way that the pit strategy is going to go, they'll definitely probably hold their positions. Rochford's probably going to slide outside of that by the time he ends up getting through his pits. And Sang is still out there. I'd love to know if anyone else knows what whether or not Sang's got any chats going at all. Anyone know what he's up to? Because that'd be awesome to know. What a great little battle there. Even Carl Johnson down, looking right down with Kidman there down in the lower teens section as well. He's all over the back of Kidman. He's right up close. Oh, he's actually had a little bit of a let go, but here we go. Slow, and we've got Sang is finally coming in. Don't worry about a chat. We've now figured out when Sang's going to come into the pits. So this will be a great little chance to see. I wonder if he's going to just take the tyres, just take the fuel, or if he will end up with the tyres. Where's he going to end up? Where is he going to end up? Is Johnson going to get in front? Is Johnson going to be behind?
I'm going to say this. I don't think he'll take tyres because one of his laps there, he was 3/10 off his fastest lap. So I think if I was him, I would not take tyres and just try and get a bit of a gap to Luke Johnson.
Yeah. That's it. Ooh. Yes, it's a great little battle here. Kidman and Johnson. Just not quite the power down there from Kidman. He's left himself exposed, but is he going to be able to brake well enough? Yes, he left about 2 playing cards worth of width there. Here we go.
I think Sang did take. I think Sang took tyres, and I think Johnson did not.
Yeah.
Because he's just jumped Sang, and Sang has also been jumped by Thistlethwaite. So Johnson, I would say, has not taken tyres. So he's provisional P3 at the moment, but that can change on the tyres set he's got. He's got to hope that he can keep it consistent, and Thistlethwaite can't take as much time out of him.
Yeah, and that I'd almost think there for Sang to be able to come out where he has between Thistlethwaite and Keys means I reckon he was probably the only one out of those 3 that actually took tyres.
No, he would have. No, I would say Keys and Thistlethwaite took tyres, and Sang took tyres as well. So I would say that Johnson didn't. Hence why he had what, a 4 and a bit second gap to Thistlethwaite when he came out. So
yeah, just I didn't think that Sang was that far back unless he had a bit of a drama in the cell.
And actually, I think JP's hasn't taken tyres either, because that gap has went from 8 seconds to 13 after the stop. So weird strategies going on here. A lot of people opting for the tyres, but a couple of people sort of who didn't really need to are going to not take tyres and hope they get holed out.
Yeah.
Replay here of the That's just a typical Red Bull Ring pit exit right there. A little bit of tailie on the exit, it gets you fine.
Yep, that's it. Typical turn 1 at that one. You've got to be very patient with that turn 1 as it kind of feels like it gets that little bit off camber just as when you put the power down. So Sang just a little bit vulnerable here with Keys, just until he gets his tyres really up to temperature, as it does start to get a little bit dark, although I don't think we're really going to expect too much rain in the next 20 or so minutes there, but definitely well overcast, being that it's not that late in the afternoon that this race is taken place, as we've got the same 2 battles between P3, P4 and P5 and P6, but this time they've decided that they want to change it up a bit and swap drivers and swap a few positions here.
And the one that was at the back, so they've basically sort of done a bit of a dozy-do with their positioning here. So what was P4 is now P3, what was P6 is now P4. What was P3 is P5, and what was P5 is now P6 with Lucas Keys. So
you've done well to get that out, Mia.
They've done a bit of a turnaround, little dozy-do, tipped their hats down, and now they're back in the positions they were. Just swapped a bit, and we see there we had backward facing shot there of Johnson with Thistlethwaite behind. Doesn't really get it down the inside, but I think the Nissan's going to have some grunt here into turn 3. Maybe going to go for a move on Johnson. It's probably going to be an easy one too, seeing as Johnson's probably not on a new set of tyres here. And into turn 3, Johnson's going to go defensive with Thistlethwaite. Oh, they've touched as well! Oh! Yeah, that was interesting. It sort of looked like they sort of met in the middle there, and Johnson is sadly the one who's lost out. And I think he'd probably be saying to himself right now, why shouldn't I have just taken the tyres instead? And he's stopped there still. Probably still waiting for a good place to rejoin the track, because where he spun into was a really bad spot.
Yeah.
So he's going to lose 4 spots out of that, which is a shame for him. He was doing so well with that used set.
Thistlethwaite is definitely the winner out of that one, and as he's now on the currently sitting in the podiums. Here we go.
Okay.
Let's see how close that was. There's
Yeah, they sort
a
of.
little bit around.
It was either they met in the middle or sort of Johnson went a little bit too deep and just ran in and just sort of tapped the
Yeah.
side of Thistlethwaite. He was sadly the unlucky one out of that.
Yeah. And that's put Johnson right down into P11 now, so that's very unfortunate for him. But this now going from a four-way back to a bit of a three-way battle between Thistlethwaite, Sang and Keys, although they've just kind of spread out a little bit, got a little bit of a gap. As we go back to Bendick as well, as he's still fighting to hold that position against Kong and Palmer, which is another great little three-way battle that we've got going on here as well. As Palmer not quite getting the same kind of pull out of that that last turn 3, and opening up a little bit of a spot there for Palmer. Sorry, Kong didn't have quite have the traction down, but able to hold Palmer off there between the three of these. It's another great little battle going on.
These are probably the only two battles on track at the moment that are pretty close for an overtake to happen. Because everywhere else on the track seems like they've all sort of spread out a bit, trying to gain something. But in Canberra 2 there in the lower corner, they're all sort of starting to close in on each other. So this could be an interesting last quarter of this race between these three.
Yep, it's great having a couple of good three-way battles rather than just a two-way battle, although Key's just not quite in that firing range as what Sang is there. So he'll be doing everything that he can to definitely stay on the back end of these guys. But you know, Key's been able to bring up. As he takes it a little bit wide on that one there, that'll cost him a couple of tenths there as well. But even that gap from Thistlethwaite to Keys from when the two of them came out of the pits at sitting at that kind of 3.5 seconds, has still closed that gap up a little bit as well. But Sang is definitely not letting Thistlethwaite get away with anything. If he's not, he's doing a sneaky again, not quite close enough up there to be able to make a move, but definitely letting him know that he is very interested in that third position on the podium. As he's got a great little run out there, but would be doing very well to be able to get past the GTR on the straight there. I don't think he'll, even in the BMW, I don't think he'll really be able to keep up with the legs of the GTR. So all he can do is kind of hopefully buy a little bit of position, keep himself up close, and get a good jump down on one of these. Good punch out of turn 3 there, as he does get a very good run. Even though it was a little bit tight on the inside there, he did get a pretty good run, although again the GTR, the legs on that is just, even if you get a bad run, it still ends up saving you. It's incredible amount of power there, as he just goes a little bit wide there, Thistlethwaite.
I would say that Seg's got the traction off the corner. But this is why he's going to look down the inside here. Going to get the curb a little bit, but he's probably got the move done. Yes, he does as well. I was about to say, Seg's probably got the cornering speed over Thistlethwaite, and that just proved it. He had a look down into turn 4, and he got it done convincingly.
And
that was going to happen as well, because Thistlethwaite, yes, he had all the straight line speed, but he had nothing in the corners for that BMW. So
yeah, that's it. And I was going to say, I reckon that just goes to show the extra time out and the fresh tyres that here we go. That was a very assertive, very well executed move there by Sang. Very well executed. Great bit of racecraft between both of those guys, giving each other just enough room, but not enough for any little small play. So, but yeah, I think that really just showed going through those corners there, just that the fresher tyres, you know, an extra half a dozen to 10 laps makes a great deal of difference there with those tyres.
Yep, we can see Kong's going to have a look at Bendix into turn 2. Has a look, but then Bendix goes deep.
Oh
And
no!
that's just going to open the door for Kong. Maybe Palmer as well. I don't know. Palmer's not going to get through, but Kong is going to say thank you very much. And that was just mind games there. Just Bendick had a, you know, got a mind punt there from Kong into turn 2. And I think Kong's just going to run away with this now. He's going to scurry away, have a little bit of laugh, and try and get to Mike Reel in 7th, but I think Reel is a bit too far away for him to catch.
I think he's fortunately Kong's just now that he's got a little bit of fresh air. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he's able to take a little bit of an extra stretch out of this set. You know, Bendick's doing well, but I don't know whether or not he'll be interesting to see with the difference in the track position there, having maybe a little bit of open fresh air. Whether or not he's able to take advantage of that with 11 minutes left in this final race of the season. And oh, far out, that Porsche's got some great under brakes there. Unfortunately, not quite as well with getting the power down as we're that little battle in camera 1. That would have been a great little replay there. I reckon there was a little bit of the airbag doof as we were seeing from the Audi at Barcelona there a couple of weeks ago. He's hit the inside of the curb there, and he's done a couple of great little bounces.
Yeah, I was waiting for you there to say, speaking of power at the corner, Johnson couldn't get it, but you missed it. You missed your chance.
Oh,
You missed your chance for a smooth commentating move over there. But back to the battle for eighth. It's not really a battle anymore. It's sort of Cole's just driving away with it. But I say that Bendick has actually kept the gap around about half a second this lap, so there could be something still in this battle. See a replay here of Carl Johnson's manoeuvre. Just sort of gets the curve on the inside and round goes the rear on the exit. So that's a typical thing there for turn 1. You get that yellow curve and you're going to go for a little bit of a spin on exit, or probably into the wall if you're not careful enough.
Yes, there's plenty of cars that I've seen facing the wrong way about 100 metres up past turn 1 there, and it's very much a case in point of go, you look like you hit the inside of that sausage. As Luke Johnson just kind of keeping an eye between Johnson there and Vinny. Johnson's only just, I've been seeing him just kind of edge ever so closer. I think he's going to be doing well to get right up onto the back of Vinny there, but I have been kind of keeping an eye on that one to see if he's able to kind of make up a couple of positions there. I'm not sure if he's going to quite make that happen though.
He's going to just get the grapple there on exit, but now Walsh is coming in this battle here, so...
Yep, I don't think he's far off the back of that. Haven't quite kept an eye on the timing change on the timing charts. Oh, as Carl Johnson getting a little bit of trying to do a little bit of GTR Tokyo drifting there, and it's definitely cost him coming out off the coming down that first straight there. Oh, Oh, as Walsh just overcooks the brakes, you can see the brakes in those front tyres just screaming at him as he was absolutely at 100% capacity there on the brakes there. So he's unfortunately not had a great exit out of turn 1 there, as we've got here Kidman and Johnson still very tight here. It's kind of gone back and forth a little bit because Johnson was in front there a little while ago, and Kidman has made his way back, but Johnson just absolutely cooking it under brakes there, doing everything that he can. Kidman going a little bit defensive, but still very much staying true to his lines and making Johnson really work for it. If he wants it, you can have it, but you got to work for it.
Yeah, which is interesting here because Carl was up in that battle there for P7 and 8, so he's probably sort of stuck behind Kidman here. Probably Kidman's a little bit slower in places where you know, Johnson can capitalise, but there are probably places where you can't pass. So you can see his tyres are starting to go. He's just very much over the place with the rear. As Palmer has a bit of a moment out of turn 2 as well, trying to get to Bendix. But yeah, so that gap between Bendix and Con still at half a second, but Palmer's coming into the battle here to probably try and pass Palmer. As in the little lower bottom corner, Johnson's going to have a look at a move into tier 2. The gap opened up, he's going to go for a 2. But Kidman, I'm going to say that's gaining an advantage on out of track limits there. Johnson will not like that at all because Kidman was right beside him. He went off track and he accelerated. No, okay. Johnson had a bit of a bad exit there. Okay, so that's sort of, he had McLaren things there on the exit.
Yeah. We really count down.
Johnson is still on the lock stops with that car. That car is not loving any corner, so
that's it. He is giving that everything that he can, and I think, as you definitely agreeing with you there, Mia, I think he's getting. This is, if he's not careful and he punishes these tyres too much more, I think Walsh will end up on the back of him again and past there. I know he's still just on that, pretty well on that second behind him, but does too much more of this. He's going to absolutely roast those rear tyres. He's really, you can tell that Johnson's really battling and fighting with that car in this last kind of quarter of the race.
Oh, that's a big dive. No. That's a big dive.
That's
got to be a redress for sure. And he's going to try to redress, and Walsh is going to get in front of these two.
Both of them. Yeah.
That was a bit. That was not on at all. The replay's going to go further back, but I think he was too far back for that move.
Yeah.
That was a bit ridiculous there from Johnson, and he's sort of known to do that too because if you were here for Kyle Army, he was absolutely sending it on everyone and anyone.
Yeah.
And as we say that, Walsh got ahead of those two, and he's got a DT, so he's going to give those places back.
No. I wonder what that was for.
Yeah, this is too far back.
That was too
far back. Just the redress will be good, but I think the stewards are still going to give him a penalty for that.
Yeah, considering he ended up losing 2 spots there, Kidman did.
Oh yeah, well Kidman only lost the 1 after the redress, but the dive that Johnson performed, I think that would be a 10 or probably a 10 or a 15, maybe a 15 going off his previous form. So we'll see what the stewards come up with that one.
Yeah, I'd like to know what. I wonder if Walsh's is a track limits one, because I didn't think he did anything wrong there. I'm not quite sure why.
Yeah, it looks like he probably got a track limit warning. He probably got it just before he passed Kidman and Johnson. So actually, I wonder if the one who passed those two was actually Rochford, because Rochford's only 1.4 behind, or 1.4 ahead of Kidman. So I wonder if we mistook the car, but I swear it didn't look like Walsh's car. But anyway, that is a track limit there for Walsh. It's not a race control penalty, so he's been hit by the track limits, and the track limits don't like you if you extend them out a bit too much around here.
That's it. They and here's the view from behind.
Yeah, so that, and then so I wonder if you probably got a track limit later on in the lap, and he instantly comes in there to serve that DT. So, and speaking of JP, he's going to come across a line. He's got 2 laps left in this race, so 2 minutes 10 left, 2 laps, pretty easy to figure out.
Yes, I think PJ will definitely take this one out without too much stress from his brother there as well. But Sang's looking like he's caught up, not quite enough to really make a good go of it, but he's just over a second there behind Sonicus, which could be a little interesting one there, as well as Keys and Thistlethwaite. There's another great little battle going on there as well. As getting closer and closer. Those guys only 1.2 seconds apart when you consider that the coming out of both of those guys coming out of the pits, and that was a 3.5 second gap. So Key's doing well to be able to battle that one back to that just over that 1 second mark. But as these guys just this thing's just relentless, this 3-way battle between Kong, Bendick and Palmer.
I'm surprised none of these three have looked for a really big move at this point. They've been in this formation for about a few laps.
Yeah.
But yeah, up the front, I did say earlier that JP probably didn't take tires. I'd probably say he did, just because of how far of a gap he pulled on John. So I'll rescind that 7 from earlier, but I think John's struggling with tyres. I wonder if he's put a bit too much in that car, as we see Carl Johnson gets a 10-second penalty for that absolutely ridiculous dive. He's actually getting a 15-second penalty too. So he's getting 2 penalties for the price of 1, apparently. Ooh. But it could also be a penalty for another car, but I believe it is not. No, he has been given a 10-second penalty and a 15, but I wonder if they're going to give him a 15 as well. Oh, no, it is.
It is
both. A 10 and a 15, so that's him to the back of the field right away. No matter what. So he's had a pretty treacherous day trying to come back from the dive earlier. He got suffered, but speaking of dives, we're on the last lap. Sang is just behind John, but I don't know if he'll get him, as Peach is going to come around the last 2 corners here. Into the last corner.
Really tight though.
He will come. He'll come across the start-finish line here. He will win in dominant fashion, consistent and fast at Red Bull Ring. He'll win in that purple McLaren, but for P2 it's still on for young and old here. Sang has caught up to John. Sang could go for a move here, but I don't think he will. He's gotten very close there down the braking zone. Oh, drag race maybe to the line, but I think John's got this. John is going to get this under a tenth between second and third, but that will confirm the championship for Sang. He will win Pro and overall in AP Red. Thistlethwaite, Keys come home 4th and 5th. Sweet 6. Mike Rear will come home in 7th, the winner in Pro-Am. Brendan Kong in this battle here. He'll come home P8 after basically mind-punching Bendix out the road earlier on to get that spot. Bendix as well, he will finish off the podium in silver. Palmer P10, he'll finish off the top 10. As Sweet there's having a moment. We'll have Vinny come across the line here, P11. Luke Johnson, what a day that could have been for him. P12, he was up there fighting for the podium. Bushell, he'll come home in 13th, with Chalmers closely followed behind. That was the last of the runners on the lead lap. So that was a not as interesting in the first half as Split Blue, but it all culminated in the end there for a very exciting race. We'll go through the rest of the results here. So Peach, JP Sonicus, P1. John Sonicus in second. Sang finishes off in the podium. He will win pro and overall in red. Sisselthwaite in P4. Lucas Keys rounds off the top 5. And that would be your top 2 in silver, with Bendix rounding out podium in silver. Pro-Am, that was a race and a half. Mike Rill will win it over Brandon Kong and Pete Vinny. We'll have to look at the points there for those 2 championships, but I'd say with Am, Herbert will win the AM Championship. None of his other competitors turned up today, so he will probably win AM Championship. But all we know right now is that we'll see Mike Reel here. He will come out of pit lane. He is not going to come out of pit lane. He's going to do his burnouts out of pit lane. Palmer behind, sort of really showing off how good Reel can do these late night burnouts here after red. And that, folks, is it for Asia Pacific Splits for season 16. It has been very great, very amazing commentating in the second half of the season with you, Brad, and also with Neil Haynes while he's been here. He's not here this week, but I would love to thank him as well for being in the comm box while I've been here. And I think, any last words for you, Brad, before we head off? Does Brad disappear?
Yeah, just a little Bluetooth technical issue there, as my little dongle just decided to fall out of my computer. So
that's not
very, very average time, I suppose. But yes, Mia, it's been great, great commentating the second half of the season this season with both you and Neil, as he's, I'm sure, trying to get his little sneak peeks when he can while he's on his cruise at the moment. And a big shout out as well to Ben, getting all of the doing all the broadcasting for us in the backgrounds here, getting all the video to life and to the big screens of wherever you're watching it through YouTube and or any other ways that you can watch this one. So bonnet cam, here we go. Thank you once again, Mike Reel, for your midnight shenanigans. Been fantastic to watch.
Yep. And I think from all of us here, it's been a great season so far. We still have one more split left, which would be the American split. That's tomorrow, about midday for the Australians, around about night time for the Americans. That'll be the last split for season 16 here at Red Bull Ring. It's going to be an amazing race, I'd say, after what we've seen so far tonight. But from me, from Brad, from Benjamin Hignett directing and giving us the shots tonight, we're going to bid farewell, goodbye, and we'll see you all next season here at Octane Online Racing.